Howdy, folks. Welcome to Adventures in Alberon, our 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons game, where for the second week in a row I have this weird Western music playing in the background, because it was caught off guard. Give me just one second. I'll throw our theme song on. So welcome to Adventures in Alberon. I'm Joe Treff, your Dungeon Master for the evening, and joining me, as always, I have my friends Matt, Miles, Ali, and Tina. This is our 5th edition campaign that we've been doing for a little bit over 25 months, which is a crazy thing to think about. This is session 71. Thank you guys very much for joining and following along. Talon, I know you've been here from the very start, so thank you so much. It's super fun getting to share this game with you guys. So before we get started, a couple of quick announcements. A lot of times we have these hand-drawn encounter maps and handouts and various other doodads that go out to the players. Those are always posted up on our Instagram and our Twitter later throughout the week. So check out at Alberon RPG for those things. The lore part of the website has been updated. This is our second announcement. I didn't break them up. It's the second part of our announcement. Lore section on the alberonrpg.com website has been updated. So that now takes us, it's like 50 some odd pages, maybe closer to 60, and now it takes us through the Idlewild as well as the Somber Cape, where Akka has a little bit of history. And then as of tomorrow, a section on the Sunward Coast is going to get posted, which has things like Port Quinn and the Lorebinder Academy and parts of the story that I think you guys are a little bit more familiar with. And Port Quinn in particular has a very large section about it. So that will be very fun and will be posted on alberonrpg.com tomorrow. And then finally, the only other thing that I think I have for this week is that we are using Sirenscape for all of our music and sound effects. Sirenscape is a digital tool set that you can use to add goblin sound effects and arrows and screaming voices and all kinds of things to your game or just to your day-to-day life if that's the kind of thing that you want to do. And with that, that brings us to the end of our announcements. And we can get right back into our recap. So, Finger Gang. When last we played, you found your places to sleep within the town of Smuggler's Dug, nestled into the magical protection of the Druid's Grove spell that Laurara had wrapped her people in. When morning approached, you interacted with the reincarnated froggy version of Guntir for the first time, though they claim not to be Guntir, your hill dwarf friend, but in fact a blue grung named Glub. Morwen, you tried to shock him into remembering, by mentioning things that would be both painful and infuriating to the real Guntir. Glub merely asked if you were okay. Shae, you spent a lot of time within the watchtower overlooking the Dug, exercising, working off feelings that you've not yet shared with the group. You all asked Laurara if she was sure that this mild-mannered toad creature that desired nothing more than return to the swamps in a place he vaguely refers to as Grung Country, is in fact Guntir. She took you inside, I think specifically Heinrich and Shae, if I remember correctly, and told you that oftentimes when reincarnation is cast, if the soul is willing to return to the body, its afterlife may have been perhaps a little traumatic. And so the soul of Guntir perhaps not willing to accept the reality of what it's undergone. Glub revealed after Morwen showed him the wanted poster of Guntir as the gazelle that he knew Guntir, but not as the hill dwarf that you all knew. He knew him as this man on the poster, but also a man from his nightmares. Glub revealed to you that he dreamed of this dwarf burning for eternity in a sphere of iron. But it was just a nightmare. You all utilized Karanza Billows, the human transmuter, to teleport to Yorn and arrive safely within the healer's hut, which had remained undisturbed since your last visit. You stepped out into the ruins of the floating cloud giant city of Yorn and into the streets between the crumbling buildings. You traversed across the city on a floating cloud and reached the aperture. There, after dispersing the various scavengers that had accumulated around the body parts left from the ritual that Jaruxa had completed to open a portal to the demiplane Calypsos just weeks ago, you set about finding the pieces of the breaker. They have been largely undisturbed, and you feel fairly confident now that you have the pieces you need to reforge them if it is indeed possible. You place them within the body of an arcane lantern recovered from over a massive hole that led to an empty stone coffin. It seemed about the size of a giant. You gather the pieces of the breaker and set your sights to the south, towards a region known as Flowers and Air, when a man named Busey, who turned out to be the hunter that you had pulled up from the ground some thousands of feet below and up to this floating cloud giant city of Yorn entirely against his will or knowledge. Um, However, he appeared to be quite friendly and let you know that there is, or seems to be, a figure dressed in purple, limping uh, off in this region. And so you all know that the ring that you need to access this region is just up a series of crumbling marble stairs in front of you. You can see there's silver etched into the iron handrail that wraps around in patterns that look like thin lines, almost like a Morse code, although from the continuous nature, you can tell it's a pattern, not an actual code. Probably. Across the space, just clouds beneath, you can see every now and then, as the wind shifts them, in front of you, maybe 400 feet away, there is another large floating structure of a slightly different material. You see larger scale than you've seen before, but some kind of cobblestone. And then the clouds in front again. However, you could assume this iron ring in front of you, the same kind of device that would lift you and bring you over should you want to. So, Finger Gang, what would you like to do?
Well,
Let's cloud ride.
yeah, okay, sure. What is our plan?
The cloud ride.
Are we going in deception or are we going in
right.
hot?
Going in hot.
Yeah, and I look at Akka. Just not to for his opinion as much as just like,
Not
look,
for his
see,
opinion.
I'm being level-headed. I'm not going in guns blazing.
My question is, why are we going at all? I thought we have the breaker. Can't we just leave?
No,
Well-
these are bad people. We might have to kill them.
That or they may know more about the plans that their group is
Right. Yeah, that
doing.
stuff.
You know, the whole end of the world plan thing. They're
So
here. We might be able to get something out of it. If not, there's one of them and 6 of us, and we can put an end to it easily
one of them
and
that we
leave.
know about.
I'm
This is
walking
also
forward
true.
and stepping on it.
Oh, I'm joining.
And also, she's got a vendetta against them. Maybe not vendetta.
As you talk, Shae takes 1, 2, 3 steps, hops up some of the stairs, like an entire flight of them at a time. 7 turns, 7 more, lightly lands within the ring, and this cloud lifts. And Shae, you feel yourself hoisted into the air, 1 foot, 2 feet. Morwen, you scamper up the steps after and leap on, landing. It's cushiony at first, and then you feel yourself adhere. The rest of you going as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Right. Well, I'm not just gonna stand around here.
Okay.
You're gonna stand on a cloud. I would like to change into my, what is it, ninth path garb while on the cloud, just like, just getting ready.
Okay. You guys watch as Morwen undresses, taking off the armor and everything, and kind of yeah. You can see Carranza just kind of looks, doesn't react especially. The human woman who has this sort of high-collared leather, it's a combination of armor and fashion. It has like that high collar with the furs emerging from it. You would imagine it does provide some element of protection, but she just kind of just eyes you warily.
Me?
Yeah, I mean, you're just getting
Well, that's
naked in
quite
front of
rude.
everybody.
I'm changing. Please don't.
Sorry.
Just
I mean,
kidding.
you can see
I
she
don't
like tries to
care.
turn her body as she lifts her foot. The foot adheres into the cloud. You can see a little bit of color rise into her cheeks, and then she just kind of turns, looks over at you, Heinrich, and just kind of like pulls a thumb. With the wind going by, you'd imagine Warren probably couldn't hear this, but she says to you, "Is this like normal for you guys?"
Just message back and be like, yeah, kinda.
All right. I mean, and just looks around. For reference, There are currently 6 of you on this cloud. It is a crowd looking around Heinrich. You can see her gaze goes across Shae, this human determined up at the front. This little frog creature, wrinkled, shriveled, blue and black spots, just waves at you as the gaze sweeps across. You
Mhm.
see Morwen now pulling up this like a purple, it's like a purple gi kind of outfit. Simple martial arts clothes, very well made. This is Zinni fabric, although recently dyed. You see Akka, the elf, full artificer gear. You see Karan's. It's a full crowd, and Morwen's just changing.
Yeah.
Um,
Treat
you
it like
float.
treat it like you would a toddler. That's basically how old she is.
Good thing you weren't around before I had pants.
Oh my
She kind of just
gosh.
glances for a second. The cloud
Yeah, there was a
moves,
pants
and
quest.
I s-
in
Oh.
front of you, the bank of clouds parts as your cloud shifts through it, and as it does, the space in front of you comes more fully into view. Shae, you see it a little bit more. Your eyes very keen, picking it out through the clouds at first. So you see this before everybody else, just by a couple of seconds. Um, the architecture here is similar to the buildings that you left behind, those towering marble and gold structures, but this is cobblestone. You also notice that there are like roots of trees wrapped in kind of following elements, um, as if there were some huge tree somewhere, although you don't see a trunk. Your mind would get pulled back to the Sunrest Islands and that massive tree that's visible from almost any part of that region. There are elements that are similar. And I would actually say, for you, Heinrich, who took a second to really look at it as you were in the Sunrest Islands from afar, very similar kind of wood. Um, you can see the windows here are arched, almost as if they're crenellations, like for arrows. And there are these kind of half semicircle flower beds underneath, although just full of dirt. There are no plants growing out of those. In front of you, there is a huge door made of iron, it looks like, although strangely free of corrosion or age. There's a huge bar at the base of this door, and worth noting, the door, perhaps 15 feet wide, close to about 25 feet tall. This is huge. You guys come to land on this structure. There's about 20 feet of stone between where this iron ring sits and the structure begins. Here and there on the cobblestones, you notice there are elements and blades of grass, although taller, closer to like shin height. And as you walk through or step off, you can feel that kind of like tickling on your shins a little bit. Shae, are you changing into your ninth path stuff?
Yes, at least changing the orange for the purple.
Okay. Shae, as you tie this belt from the ninth path garb around to kind of cinch it, you realize there's a similar color not that far away. In front of this iron door, off to the left by about 5 feet, there is a spear. This is a Zinni spear, the old kind, not this magnetic kind that you've had. So you'd imagine um, probably predates the schism of the Zinni. Um, it is planted between two cobblestones, the tip of the spear digging in, and then strapped to the side of it, almost tied around it like a flag, but it's really just a rag that just flutters in the wind. It's a piece of purple fabric. Um, the door is still shut. You don't see any immediate entry points necessarily. Um, this door is huge in front of you, just massive piece of iron. With your passive perception, you can see on the ground, going from that little post or that flag sort of flaps to the door, there are just trace drips of blood, and they vanish under the door.
Are there windows anywhere?
So there are windows. They seem to have something that is akin to glass, although even at first glance you can tell it's not. There is a frosted nature to it, not frosted necessarily. It distorts the view of what's within fairly substantially. You'd imagine this is maybe quartz. Um, you could get closer and kind of look at it, but you do see there is like a thick, twisted root that does explode through the right-hand side of the building out and then just dangles freely where it spreads into hundreds of smaller roots that seem to be looking for more ground, but they just hang over the air, off and to your left. That is what you see.
I think I want to go check out the root first and see if there's a large enough opening.
Okay. You move over off to the left. Is anybody else doing anything?
Is there anywhere to like watch while being covered, like hide and observe?
Make a perception check. From first glance, it's kind of tough to see anything like that. It looks like sheer wall and then ground, but you can certainly look.
13.
13. The shape of the front door, give me 1 second, let me pull this up real quick, is such that you could, I would say, if you get right into like where the doorway is, there's maybe like a foot or two of like overhang, and you can kind of tuck yourself into the shadows from the sun that's coming overhead. It is, yeah, you could do that. So you just kind of, if you want, can tuck yourself in there.
More the opposite, where I'm not trying to get close to the building. Is there like, is it just flat ground and then building, and that's it?
Yeah, there's elements of grass creeping across the cobblestone ground beneath you, but it's just
like
kind of flat open.
Rocks or trees or anything.
Little bits of rubble, but nothing large. Worth noting that there is no crumbling structure. Unlike the rest of the ruins that you've seen, this is a very much intact building. You don't see broken windows.
Okay. I guess I'll just kind of follow Shae, but I'll stay very close to the wall of the building.
Okay.
Just for the sake of
minimizing
visibility.
Sure.
Are we wait out here, or what's
I
the
think we
plan?
should knock on the door.
Shae, make an investigation check.
Let's see what she finds.
It's a 15.
15. You go up to this root and it is flush. You can see areas where it almost seems to have bubbled out a little bit, as if it grew through a narrow opening and then swelled once it kind of grew beyond. However, as you get really close, your fingers kind of pry around the edges and elements of the masonry come away in your hands. And you realize, over however long this has been here, and you know Yorn's been here for thousands of years, as this root has pushed its way through, it has loosened the integrity of the stone around it. You can rip chunks away, and for you, easy enough to make a section that you can just slither through. And if you would like to do so, you certainly can.
I'm doing so in a way that's not like punching through the wall, trying to do this as quietly as possible.
Yeah, make a stealth check. You guys all watch as Shae explores and then begins to pull elements of brick and stone away.
21.
Quietly pull elements of brick and stone away. You don't hear the sound of mortar crumbling onto the ground. Shae, you take the orange part of the parts that you just switched out and sort of drape them across your arm, sweeping elements of the masonry in so it doesn't fall. You lower that gently to the ground, and you can see about 2 feet tall, about 1.5 feet, 2 feet wide, a rough semicircle of a hole that you could certainly get through.
And I'm going through.
Okay. You slip through easy enough. Within, there are these huge, thick vines in front of you. So you enter into a room. This room, roughly 60 feet wide at its widest point. However, it is shaped almost, it goes up 10 feet and then flattens out, becomes much wider. And then you can see it disappears off to the left and the right. The ceilings here are like 35 feet tall, looming. But you realize this, for a giant, and you've come across giants before, these would be kind of tight quarters. But almost like a small structure for a giant. This is certainly designed for them. In front of you, there's another 20-foot wide door, and there is no door within. It's just a doorway. However, these thick roots have twined together and grown to block the passage. It looks very purposeful and not at all natural.
Mm-hmm.
It goes together so tightly. You can see elements of some kind of light coming through, just faint, but it is very closely tied together. On the left-hand side, there's like a 10-foot kind of wall that extends beyond this root door almost. There are 4 almost plates, and you can see things kind of written over top. The hallway goes off to the left and then wraps around. The hallway goes off to the right and then wraps around.
Do I see traces of this dried blood on the floor?
Make a perception check, or make an investigation check, actually. And then for the rest of you, what do you guys do?
I'll slither through the same hole.
Okay. Isumiwa, thank you for the incredibly long subscription streak. Appreciate it. So you slither in, another purple garbed figure matching Shae. You can see Shae just kind of looking around and begins to look closer to the ground. What would you roll, Shae?
16.
16. It's faint. You can see it's whatever this wound is, not like freely gushing blood. It's just a little bit, but enough. You can see 1, 2. You lose the trail for a little bit, but where the light comes in through one of these quartz windows, you can see just another drop, and it seems that this trail goes off to the left.
I am making my way that way in a stealthy manner.
Okay. What was your other stealth check? It was 21?
It's 21.
Okay. Morwen, you watch as Shae gets low to the ground and then begins to move to the left. Akka, Glub, and Heinrich. What are the 3 of you played by 2 people doing?
I'm just gonna sit near the new window and just kind of
So if they
look in
come
and
out,
yeah.
we get them, and we really
Well-
should have talked about this.
Yeah, but
Wait.
mobility first, I guess. I'm on that side, honestly. I agree, but hey, what's been done can't be undone.
I'm just happy to be here.
All right, why don't we hang around the side here, but keep an eye on the front door and an ear on this hole in the wall. Just kind of see if we can figure out what's going on.
Does this look like, knowing any sort of architecture, is it like indicative of maybe what it could be?
Make a history check.
Uh,
Who is this? Akka making a history check?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like Glub is just happy to be here.
Yeah. Glub doesn't have a whole lot of history.
He's just like enjoying the wonderful views. That's a 21.
21. So for Akka, looking at this, so there is an element of the hallway structure that reminds you of the Antiquities building, which it inhabits a place beneath a museum. The part beneath the museum is much older than the museum. And you haven't talked to Mr. Gift about it, but you've heard that this area that you guys have kind of taken over was at one time established by giants at some point during the first age. You heard loosely of something called the First Winter and frost giants, but you don't remember much else beyond that. You know it was built by giants. You know that it's an old building. That's kind of it. Although, from the outside, there's not a lot that you can see.
Okay. I guess we wait for them to come back out, and because I can't fit through the hole that Shae's made, right?
Glub
As
could.
yeah, Glub could.
Glub could walk up right through it almost.
Yeah, Glub can just kind of just step right in, no problem.
No, I mean
With
I
his-
can't. I also
Just gotta like hope his sweater doesn't get snagged.
yeah.
Is he still wearing the overlarge sweater?
Oh yeah, it's freezing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's not freezing. So again,
Well, it's
up here
cold.
in Yorn,
Oh,
it's warmer than it is down there. You're above
Right.
the cloud cover, above whatever it is that has kept the north so cold for so long. It's about 48 degrees Fahrenheit.
Probably keeping
Sweater
it
weather.
on still, because like he's a little frog man, and
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
doesn't
I
have
mean,
anything else. I'm not just gonna carry it around,
Yeah.
tie it around his waist maybe, but it would drag on the ground. Probably already is dragging on
Tie
the
it around
ground.
his waist and have like a camera around his neck and a little fanny pack.
Yeah, pretty much. Neat.
Trucker hat says, "I heart Yorn."
For her part, Karanza is going to kind of look back and forth between all of you and go, well, I kind of want to see what's inside. I mean, this is exciting. Nobody's been in here. Look at it.
Yeah,
And
you
look
can.
over at the door.
You can move the wall around, can't you? You moved that wood around to make a chair. Can you move stone too?
Yeah.
You said you could.
That's kind of what I meant. So, I mean, are we going in? Should I
Yeah,
do
if it's
this?
quiet. If it's quiet, you want to make a doorway.
I
A more
wouldn't mind
proper
chipping
fitting
in.
doorway.
Yeah, I could do that. Hang on. And you can see kind of places a hand over the stone that's fused into the leather chest piece itself. And as she does, the color in it shifts subtly from this kind of almost like a cobalt blue gray to something that's more akin to like a muddy brown. That inner light seems to shine from the roughly cut facets of the transmuter stone. And as she does that, you can see her eyes intensely look at the element of masonry that Shae has pulled away. And suddenly the edges begin to crumble into mud, and basically a 6 foot tall door appears as the stone itself just mushes, and it becomes almost like wet cement in this puddle at the base.
All right. I'll take up the rear. Y'all want to go in first? I can go in first. I don't really care.
She's already going through.
Good, perfect.
Glub would follow after her, being like, "Oh, this is gonna be fun." Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, so does he have like, so since he's like slimy, right? And like that's the poisonous part. Can you like leave a trail of it somewhere?
I don't think
I guess we'll
so.
find out.
So,
Mechanically, I
I
don't
think-
think so. But
I think
Mechanically,
actually it
you
would
can
be
apply-
through bristles.
So if you look at the Grung rules, I believe you can apply your poison to stuff.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a racial trait. It's not like crazy good, but you can try.
Right.
you're not
I
like a
think I
It's
snip.
not like a
He's
slug.
not. Yeah.
A slug, yeah.
Right. So,
He's a frog.
Good. That'd be
Morwen,
gross.
are you doing anything? You can see Shae going off to the left. You can
Yeah,
hear
I'll
this
just
conversation
casually-
behind you.
No, I'm just gonna casually follow her. Well,
Okay.
I'll like wait a little in between, like whoever comes out first, so they see me.
Okay. So
I'm going where I'm going.
you turn around to kind of look over at this hole that they're creating, hearing this conversation, and you notice on either side of the doorway when you walked in, there are two large planters full of giant flowers. They're a normal species of flowers, but they just look to be almost supersized. There's a lot of area where they're not alive. A lot of them have died over time. But here and there, on the right-hand side, there's a big planter of these massive 3-petaled flowers. There's like 5 or 6 of them in a 15-foot wide, 15 feet long, 5-foot wide bed that's kind of raised up about 7 feet, still above your head. And then on the left-hand side, there's another sort of, they look almost like those bell flowers kind of turned down. There's maybe 6 of those.
Ooh, I want to get one of the bellflower buds and put it over me, so I'm just like walking around in it.
Yeah. Okay. You take one, and there's no real scale because you can't really see how big I am. From the base of this flower to the edge of its petals, it's about 2.5 feet long. So you can like put it, and it will go over your shoulders and kind of rest across. It looks like you're in like half a banana peel almost, although baby blue.
Love it.
So
Do we all
as
see that?
Carranza walks in, she sees the purple robes of the ninth path, the black tail of Morwen just swishing about excitedly, and this blue flower just kind of encasing your body. She reaches out and just kind of goes, "Are you all right?"
Wait, it's 2 feet, like big.
Be
It goes from the
long?
top of your head down to like like right below your shoulders.
So I couldn't like, and then I'm just fully in it. That's
Not
really
these,
small.
no. These are a little too small for
Is there
that.
something that's like that that I can?
You could certainly look, but in this
Okay.
room, you don't see anything like that.
Oh.
You look around, you can see these massive roots on the ground, and in places coming through the wall, and you can see these 2 different species of flower, very large. That's kind of what you see in this space. But Shae, as you round the corner,
I'll just keep this flower on.
you come to this. So you cross like what is sort of like a really wide hallway designed for giants. And as you do, there's a few things that you see. There's a long hallway beyond, but it's broken into sections. Make a perception check.
It's a 21.
Okay. This corridor is about 20 by 25 feet. And it extends to a place where all of a sudden the entire wide and tall hallway, 35 feet tall, is just full of solid ice. You can see encased within this ice, very similar to another thing that you've seen previously here, a giant distorted through the frosty face of what you can see. With that roll, you can see in the inside of this ice a massive twisted root that turns, curves, and then seems to have speared straight through the giant, straight through the wall, and into whatever room lies beyond. All of this kind of frozen in time. You see the giant still holding this massive two-handed for a giant war axe, still in its hand. Beyond that, you see stairs, although those kind of fade into the distortion of the ice. You can see in front of you with that roll, and just barely, there is something in this space. You shift your head and kind of take 2 steps to the left so that this quartz window is right over your shoulder. And in the light that streams through, you can see elements of dust, but also the faintest glint of light across metal. And you realize there are razor thin metal strands. You see one, and as you shift your head, they kind of catch across many of them. And you would imagine stepping through here, perhaps almost designed to like cut up and tangle into a creature. Shae, you do notice with that roll little bits of blood, and then suddenly up and in an almost impossible to see space between the ice and the ceiling, about 30 feet up, a dug out sort of area in that ice that perhaps, Shae, you might be able to fit through. Morwen, Glub, that's probably it without a little bit of work. And I would say that's what you see.
At this point, do I hear anybody following behind me?
You hear the sound of like plant matter breaking, and then some shuffling, and then kind of look around the corner. If you turn and kind of look, you'll see Morwen with the flower pulled over top. Carranza just kind of looking and holding a hand out from behind. I think Glub is going in now, so you can kind of see Glub squirming through, just like hands over the parts of the sweater so they don't get tangled in the stone.
Is any one of them looking in my direction?
I don't know. Yeah, Morwen is.
Morwen's
Is
got
it
a
straight
flower on her
ahead?
head.
Well, I would have cut little, I can
So
see.
ominously, Shae, the flower slowly turns towards you. You see Morwen's black paw come up, a claw come out, and cut 2 eye holes in. The little bits of blue petal fall away, and these gleaming cat eyes come out. You are now looking at Shae.
I'm just gonna hold up a hand, and then I'm going toward that cutout spot.
Okay. Again, to do so, you're going to have to walk through roughly 20 feet of these kind of razor wires.
Do so in a manner to evade them.
Okay. Make an acrobatics check.
Make a Mission Impossible check.
It's a 27.
27.
Oh, no, 28.
Yeah,
I
so-
lied. 28.
28. Oh, you fell down. So, yes, you kind of step around one, and you do this slowly. You're able to almost feel them as they just brush against your skin. And about even just like a foot in, you've stepped past 2 or 3 of them. Something feels wrong to you. You've kind of brushed up against them. They don't leave the thin, the almost impossible, like baby downy hairs on your arm. They're not disturbed. They're not cut. And you'd imagine something razor sharp like this would. Something about these is different than you imagined, although for you, hard to discern what, especially kind of trying to concentrate on going through.
Mhm.
But slowly you pick your way through these thin, almost invisible filaments of metal. And you find yourself in this 5-foot space where the filaments are no longer present, but the ice is directly in front of you. You look up, 30 feet up, thin, maybe like a foot tall gap that has been like clawed out. You can see elements of blood on the edge as it curves and then disappears out of sight.
And it's straight up, no handholds, no... Cool. I'm gonna try to jump it.
Okay. What is your jumping height now? It's something like, it's not quite 30 feet.
It's ridiculous. I'd have to look it up because I haven't actually used it.
So take a glance at that while you're looking at that.
Standing
Is anybody else?
times strength modifier.
Yeah, but she has there's something else that changes that. 4 monks. Meanwhile, the rest of you doing anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna follow her to a certain point, and then when she starts walking funny, I'm assuming it's avoiding the things that... Are they obvious, or is it just because she can see, like, everything?
What is your passive perception?
17.
You just watch. It's like, you know, when sometimes you just, like, it's just like your pants are just a little uncomfortable. You have to take that weird step. That's kind of what's going on. And Shae just starts walking real weird. And it's hard to really understand why she ducks. She moves. Maybe it's like some kind of a monk stretch. Hard to tell. But you don't see anything in this space.
Yeah, no, I find that kind of sus, because I know Shae, and she don't usually walk like that.
No.
So I'm gonna follow up to a point where she starts walking funny. I'm gonna be like,
Make a perception check, because you just kind of like look around trying to figure out what's going on.
where the hell's my perception? Oh, 21.
21. You start to look, and as you do, you can see Shae stop, like in an instant, tense. And as you do, you look at her arm, and you can see just barely there is a thin, the width of a hair, metal filament that's kind of across the arm. And you see Shae kind of pull back and adjust, and then continue.
All right, well that confirms why she's walking funny, and I'm not following that.
Fair enough. Anybody else?
I think Glub would just be kind of taking in the sights, you know, like checking everything out inside.
Glub, make sure to take a step back. This area ain't too safe.
Glub, what languages do you speak?
Dwarven, Elvish, Common, and Giant.
Still speak Giant. So Glub, as you take
Right?
in the sights, yeah, I believe you do. As you just kind of look around, taking in the sights, this happy little old shriveled blue grung, you see in Giant,
Neat.
there are letters off to the left above these kind of stone plates. In Giant.
What's it say?
Just looking over, because you can read Giant, each one going from left to right reads O-P-E-N. Open is the word across this 4. They look almost like metal stone dishes. Metal stone dishes. Metal round dishes. I don't know why. Metal stone.
Metals. I mean,
You know the metal stone?
derived from.
And that's like near
Made
the
of the other.
door, right?
Yeah. So on the left-hand side, you know what? Hang on one second. I think I had a picture of it. Yes. So I'll post this in our Discord thing, and if somebody could post this in Twitch chat so other people can see what we're talking about, that would be great. Copy link. All right.
like
this
it's-
is now.
I don't know if it goes without saying, but I read everything that I can, so.
You also
I'm
see
already
this.
noticing this.
Although you're not. Have you entered?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would have gone in
Yeah.
last or whenever. Yeah, last, I guess.
Yep. Then you see that as well as you walk past these 2 large beds of flowers, giant flowers, and this huge kind of twist of roots in front of you. You can see on the left-hand side of this little inlet doorway 4 dishes and the word open across in giant.
Mm.
Do the dishes look like are they like too high up for probably for Glub to
For
see?
Glub, yeah. They're sitting right around like 6 feet tall.
Okay. So can't tell if there's anything in them.
Nope, you can just see the curved under part of them.
And So
Look at that.
they're oriented to hold something, I'm assuming, right?
Yes.
Okay. And they all just say open, and that's it.
So above each dish there is one letter. OPEN.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
Oh,
This
must be the
seems,
lock.
yeah, seems kind of like a fun game. Glub, you up for a game?
Oh yeah, sure. I'm down for some games.
All right. Looks like the bowls hold something. The only other thing that's immediately around us is flowers. And how many different kinds of flowers are there?
That you can see right now?
Yeah, well, just if I take a glance around the hallway, not just from my standing point, but if I move so I can see.
Okay, so moving around. So first you see behind you on either side of the door that you came through. To the left, one kind of giant flower. To the right, another kind. Walking by and kind of glancing in the direction that you can see Morwen kind of just slowly disappear around the corner
Mhm.
of. There is no flower bed in that direction. Turning to the opposite way, you don't really see one either. Although on the ground, because you are reading everything, off to the right, maybe like 50 feet away, diagonal, you can see in front of another large metal door, there's giant written on the ground. The large glyphs switch around to read for you. 1 second here. Um, it reads, "In me see stars."
Hmm. Well, I feel like we got to put something in each of these dishes that starts with the letter beneath or above each of them, if that makes sense. That's a guess. There's not 4 discrete kinds of flowers visible.
As far as you can tell, without really going into any of the other spaces, just kind of walking around this room and peering around, you see these two kinds. I
Right.
would say seeing that written language and kind of getting closer to it, as
Uh-huh.
you get to a point where you can see around the right hand side, there is a third kind of flower there as well.
Okay.
Hmm.
How's your knowledge of botany? How's anyone's knowledge of botany?
Who's got a good nature skill? One of the most important skills in the game, often used.
Hey, I made a
Akko's
very
got a
concerted effort not
5.
to say whose nature is good.
Yeah.
Heinrich, for your reference within general, I posted the room that you can see this giant writing in. So off to the right hand side, you see a huge, like a 30-foot long window.
Uh-huh.
Again, this kind of almost semi-frosted
Quartzy.
quartz, and so the light, the light is a little bit, a little softer as it enters the room. There are these kind of what look like you've seen them before. You actually have one. These kind of pyramidal sort of magical torches. Though they are both out at the moment.
Yeah.
And then you can see these 4 glass spheres that are held in like an extension of metal coming out from the cobblestone. They seem maybe decorative. They look like a cheaper version of the crystal ball that you saw in
Laurara used.
Laurora's. Yeah, much cheaper.
Mhm.
Um.
Um, and then for reference, because I also have it drawn because I had a lot of time this week, Shae, the hallway that you just crawled through looks something like this.
Or do you want me to post these?
Yeah, I
Sure.
mean, you
Yeah.
should. Yeah. If we can see them, everyone else should. Why not?
This would be when we're playing in person. This is when this would be what's on the battle cam.
Right.
Can Akka try to discern what types of flowers
Make a
these
nature
things
check,
are?
yeah, for sure.
Got a decent nature check. But a bad roll. That's a 9.
Okay. You turn around and look. It's weird. These are huge. You've never seen flowers this big. No idea.
Yeah.
All right.
I will say though, for what it's worth, the ones that you see um, off into the left side, they look. If you look at them just the right way, they look kind of like swans.
That's
Goofy.
kind of cool.
Yeah, like orange swans, and as you get close to the middle of the flower, the it becomes like a little bit more yellow. But
Hmm.
with your 9 nature check, it's a swan flower.
Okay.
Well, maybe if we
Um,
figure it out but don't actually open it as if just if Shae's off doing recon and spying and stuff, I don't want to accidentally open a door and get her in trouble or whatever. Maybe it's better if we just sort of figure out, but don't execute this door opening mechanism yet.
Yeah, I mean,
That
if we're
tracks.
trying to trap this person, opening up a giant door isn't really
Yeah,
the best play.
kind of my thoughts too. Yeah. Maybe let's. My thought just goes to the flowers first. Maybe if we just grab one of each and put them in each bowl, see if we get a reaction of any kind.
I think
I'm gonna just start trying that out. I'm gonna go
Sure.
grab one of the 3 flower petaled ones.
I
Okay.
think Aka's
I'll just mage hand and rip
look
it
for
off.
somewhere comfy to wait.
Okay. Akka just kind of gets his back up against
Like,
a corner of the wall,
guarding
and slides down.
guarding the hole.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not even gonna touch that one.
It's called
so-
it's a goalie.
Yeah.
It's a goal. Okay. So yeah, you settle into your goalie kind of stance. The 3-petaled flowers that you go to, I would say, you probably. How much does Heinrich know about flowers?
Only what I would have been exposed to from talking with people at the spice market in Port Quinn, and then anything in passing,
Make a nature
like
check.
Ortude at the little oasis area.
You
that
don't
kind of
recognize
stuff.
these from Ortude's little oasis, but make a nature check.
Natural 20.
All
So
right.
21.
You turn around, and the flowers in this bed, although much larger than any you've ever seen, these are just your kind of common garden variety pansies. You can see just 3 large petals, and then as you look, they kind of come down into a very white middle, but this flower almost like a crimson on its own. There's only like 5 or 6 of them. You see a couple other little sprouts. As the sun hits them from this quartz glass, you can tell that's probably how they're getting at least the sunlight part.
Okay.
But your mage hand plucks the smallest of them.
I'm gonna peek in right when he does that and see
Okay.
that he's plucking a pansy and just be like, he would. I laugh under my bellflower petal.
It's a weird muffled kind of
it
sound.
like
Bellflower's
shifts up and down.
A little bit of
Oh,
pollen out the bottom.
Yeah.
But yeah, you grab that.
Okay, so I'm gonna grab that and I'm gonna go put it underneath the rune that translates to the P.
Okay, you place it in. As the mage hand settles it down, you can see in this metal dish, there's a little circle of stone at the base of it. And as it touches, you see that stone glow with a faint white light.
Kind of like look around to everyone. Is anyone else paying attention?
I mean, idly standing by the entrance to the
Well, of course you wouldn't be impressed.
So where Shae went, there's like a open doorway, right? And she went like to the left and through it. Is that correct?
Yeah, so she just went around like the left-hand side, like of a corridor. It's just
This
an
one.
open hallway, and then on the left-hand side, there's all these little
So you can
lines
stop.
that you saw one of.
Yeah. So I think I'll just be standing kind of in the middle, like watching what they're doing, but also keeping an eye over here because I don't know. She just went somewhere by herself, and I'm too scared to follow her. So like,
Sure.
hopefully,
Um,
if I see her and she needs help, like we'll figure it out.
would Glub be able to make it through the wires? And are they like
What's Glub's
visible?
passive perception? 19?
20.
20? Glub can see. Glub, you just kind of come around the corner. You're just looking at the sights. You turn. There is like 14 or 15 razor sharp wires strung from one side to the other. Shae, your passive perception is 19, correct?
It's also 20.
Also 20. So that's what you see. Just 14 or so of these little things kind of across, and you see Shae's foot disappear over the top of this massive wall of ice. But yeah, you certainly do see them. Looking at them, Glub, make an investigation check as you kind of look for a path for your tiny form to squeeze through. There's nobody else who might be able to do this, but Glub, you might just be able to just walk through a part of it.
I'm just gonna be like, oh,
that's
look,
a dirty 20.
Careful over there.
So you
dangerous.
watch as
Just
Glub
looking.
just kind of looks and walks through. You saw Shae carefully duck and maneuver around. Glub just kind of walks, and you see a part
Holding
where
my
Shae
breath,
had
I'm
to
like,
Mission Impossible, curve her spine all the way around. Glub just kind of whoop, and just kind of goes underneath. Glub, you walk up to the ice without issue. Uh, in front of you, you can see this ice, and Shae, as you are now crossing it, I will post this. This is what you see beneath you. You see these massive pieces of root, one of which is extended through this giant, frozen in time in this chunk of ice, this hallway of frozen ice. As you shuffle through, your arms, your legs are on the exposed bare ice. It is cold. And you have to kind of crawl through this narrow, thin space. There are sections where you have to exhale completely just to shift between the stone and the ice. You see beneath you this giant, very much with this cold, pale blue skin. You see the eyes open. You see red irises, very lifelike. Um, doing anything? Every now and then you also see a little scrape of purple fabric, a little smear of dried blood. Frozen.
I'm continuing to follow it in
Okay.
a somewhat as stealthy as I can manner.
Make a stealth check at disadvantage as you are now scraping between ice and stone. Matt.
How tall is the ice?
About 30 feet tall.
Okay.
14.
Okay. Anybody else doing anything while Shae does this?
Guys,
Glub's just got his face up against the ice, trying to look in.
Okay.
Ooh.
Your breath kind of frosts it over. It gets harder to see. You have to, with your little grung hand, you look up
Sweater.
again. It just frosts again. It's like a repeated process, but you do so. You see the same things that Shae sees. You see a frost giant frozen in time, being speared through the middle by this weird sort of root.
There's a giant getting stabbed in here. I think I'm gonna come back.
You watch as Glub turns around and again just walks right through this trapped hallway. These weird filaments of iron just kind of gently going by him, not even a problem.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna be trying all the other flowers out or checking them out to see if I know them.
Okay, you have a lot of time, and so with a little bit of trial and error, you discover. First of all, when you place the pansy into the P1, it 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 has that faint white glow.
Mm-hmm.
You take this bell-like flower, the pale blue. You put it in the first one, the O, nothing happens. You put it into the. Are you putting it into the same one as the pansy?
No.
Okay, put it into the E one, nothing happens. Put it into the N one,
Okay.
faint white glow.
And I'll go get the third flower that I can see in this room.
Yeah,
And
you get this third flower, which some kind. Hang on one second, I gotta go pull it back up. The third flower is pushed into the top. It's compared to the other ones fairly dull. It's like a brown. You can see there is like this raised element in the middle that's black and almost like little fuzz bits that are about half a foot long because of the scale of this flower. But you pluck one of them off, and as you try it one by one, this flower does not seem to work.
Okay. Need to find more flowers. So I'll just. Yeah, I mean, the next thing would be to work on this other door.
Okay.
Don't want to do that.
Sure. Shae, you climb across this ice, not terribly quiet. It is difficult to make quiet room here because there are places where you do have to kind of chip away at the ice towards the end. What other figure kind of slithered through here, either very small or perhaps like you, a monk? You managed to cross over. I would say as you do, there are glints in the ice, and looking down with your passive perception, you do see there is an amulet around this frost giant. You can see on it because it looks like as this figure was speared through the middle, the amulet kind of flipped up. You can see the face of it, and from the gleam, you know that the metal is platinum, but it depicts a mountain, and it has some lettering that you don't quite understand behind it. You see a large drinking horn. On its side, it's like the size of a normal kind of drinking horn for somebody like a standard sized person. However, for you, it would be like the size of a backpack. Um, and you see this axe that is as tall as Heinrich. With you standing on top of Heinrich would be about as tall as this axe. It is massive, with complex twisting imagery on the side of the head. But you manage to get across. You look down 30 feet below, you see more stone, and you actually see a little spatter of blood, as if the figure managed to pull itself and maybe fall here. You see this room. Um, there are stairs, or so right beyond this, like 5 feet more feet of stone, and then stairs that go up 3 big steps to another level. And on this level, you can see right in front of you these five. They look like maybe hexagonal platforms, each about 7 feet tall. And on one of them, the fourth one all the way back, and these are flush against the wall, you can see another flower, this one just glimmering with this almost snow like petals. Looks like a rose. To the right, there is a huge table, 20 feet long, um, looks to be about 8 feet tall. So you're like looking at the underneath of this table, and you see a huge chair beyond that. Further into the chamber, you can see another huge iron door. There is a bar that runs along the lower part of this door, as if it's meant. Actually, Shae, you have been to Captain's Keep. You've been within a Temple of Cord. Similar to how you could lift the doors if you were a giant, you could probably lift these doors.
Sad I'm not a giant. Do I see where this blood spatter goes? Or does
Make
it
an
continue?
make an investigation check.
That's a 14.
14. Okay. You look around. You find a little bit of blood. You see it gets to the steps, but you lose the trail after that. You look around. You can see now standing up this rose, and this rose, it hovers above this hexagonal platform. It doesn't actually touch. It's not seated in anything. Um, it seems to float, although it doesn't bob up and down. It's just static in the air. Little elements of ice crystals kind of fall off the side and sublimate into the air below it. Um, there is something magical about this flower, certainly.
I think I want to make my way up the stairs.
Okay.
Because there's nothing else on this floor, correct?
This is so. What I'm describing is what you see up these stairs.
Okay.
There's only 3 steps, and it's kind of just an elevated platform above this hallway.
Got it. Okay.
I posted a picture of it in general.
Make my way into the room, and I suppose keep looking for any signs of someone passing through.
Okay. So, from your perspective, Morwen, if you're watching Shae, she disappears and drops down on the other side of the ice. You see 20 feet away through the ice, shifting purple. That is Shae, although it's barely visible. You can just see like her moving and the color.
I hope she's okay over there.
How'd you get through that?
Well, I just
Yeah.
walked right through. I'm
Wait.
a bit shorter than you, so
So if I just duck, will I be able to get
Kranza
through?
just kind of looks at you guys. What are you talking about?
oh,
These
the
things. I'll point
the
them out.
wire over here.
You can see she looks, and it takes her a second. She is not as perceptive as either of you. But as her eyes pick it out, you watch and you follow them to the wall. And she gets up close to the wall and really begins to look. And then she backs away like 2-3 feet really quick. Yeah, these are all attached to this is some kind of evocation magic. This isn't really my thing, but
Oh,
you don't want to touch these.
hmm.
But yeah, but
Well,
I
it's a
mean,
good thing I didn't then.
I mean, she's on the other side of them. I'm worried she's by herself.
Well,
Well, I could
I
probably go
guess.
over and check on her if you want.
Yeah, would you mind? I think we'd all feel a little bit better if you did that.
Is he really the
Okay. Well,
I'm not there.
son?
Don't look at me. I'm not here.
I'm
You
looking
hear
around.
in your head, Glub, only in your head, you just hear, "Don't worry, we can talk to you if we need to. Just go, just go."
oh, okay. Well, if you say so.
All right, don't make any
No.
rash decisions, Glub. Be careful.
Oh no, I'm pretty level-headed.
Glub,
generally
as he's
speaking.
walking through, he turns around to talk to you. You see one of these wires come right close to his head, and as he turns, just kind of ducks underneath. You've made this passage before. You know how to walk here, Glub. You get up to the ice. You look up. It's a 30-foot ice wall, and then a little gap that you could very easily get through.
Are there any like footholds anywhere up
It's
of it,
pretty
or is it
sheer ice.
sheer ice?
Not
Hmm.
completely sheer. I mean, it's a little rough in places, but it would be difficult to climb.
Even for your
Let me
sticky
see.
pads.
You have a climbing speed. You could
Oh, yeah.
slowly just
And you're
climb
a
it.
frog. I feel like can't you
Yeah,
jump
I was-
pretty high too?
Well, yeah, I can jump, but not high enough. But I think I would jump and then climb the rest of the way because.
Make an athletics check.
Okay.
If he was super sticky, I'm just picturing like throwing someone at like a Velcro wall. You know, where it's just like thunk.
Guntir might have been sticky enough for that, but
Oh.
not Grunter, weirdly.
That's a 21.
Whoa.
A 21. You watch as this little grung bends down and then leaps right onto the side. As your body heat begins to melt it ever so slightly, you slide down like an inch, but then you just scamper up. You right into this small space between the ceiling and the ice.
And I'm impressed because I'm like, yeah, Gunter, the dwarf could definitely not do that. That's new.
And then you watch the blue-skinned frog turn and then scamper through this pattern. Shae, it took you a little while to claw your way through. You finally get down, you look around, you begin to climb the stairs, and you hear behind you this kind of and turning very easily. Glub just made his way through.
Hey, Shae. Everyone else was worried about you, so we go.
Stay close.
I'm gonna scurry over to Shae.
Okay.
What are we doing over here?
They're injured, whoever's over here.
Oh, we should probably help them then. Do you have any band-aids?
We'll see. Just we're looking for them first, Grung. Or
Okay.
Glub.
I'll keep my eyes out.
Glub would totally have the kid band-aids with the little Mickey Mouse designs, in the tin box.
No, it's fine.
Do you want a Mickey or Goofy?
Yeah.
Anyways,
I want to go check out this other door on the other side
okay.
and sort
So
of wave Carranza over, and I guess Akka if he wants to.
you see Karanza very hesitant. She's watching the disappearance of Glub, but after a second kind of turns. Yeah, they're I don't really know if we should be splitting up like this.
I mean,
That's why I was waiting.
that is
at
an
the-
impasse for someone like myself. I'll just gesture to,
This is
Glub,
also why I
flank your
suggested
armor.
that we talk.
Normally, I could just kind of move the stones around to mud again, but I kind of run out of that trick for today. So getting out, especially fast, might be kind of dicey.
Yeah, and they definitely went in through the hardest to go way. There is another door, and maybe it wraps around
Well,
if we can get it to open.
let's open it up. Why not?
Yeah, but they're already. What if they need to communicate with us? Don't they need a?
How? They are already beyond
Oh
either
wait,
of our
I didn't know
reaches.
about that. That was in.
Yeah, but
Never
you
mind.
know that I can do that.
Oh,
And there's no way that I can do that through solid ice and then stone and then not being able to see them and know where they are. So it's kind of
Real
pointless.
tough.
There's no point unless we just want to sit there and wait there, or we can actively try to find another way around.
If I hadn't done all the transmuting already today, I know a spell called Pass Wall. I can make a big corridor just appear. That'd be great, but
Would have been, but hey, it's all good. This is what we're working with now, I guess.
All right. Well, why
Is
don't?
no one else? I mean, fine. I'll just go. If you guys want to sit here, I'll go the other way.
no, I'm coming with you. I'm
Oh, okay,
I'm
perfect.
with you
Let's go.
100%. Karanza follows you.
Well, I'm not gonna just stay here alone.
Akka
Well, I'm
follows you
here.
as well.
Well,
Just
now
more
I'm
than
alone.
A sad flower.
Akka, Heinrich, Karanza, you all move to the right hand side, and you see now the giant written on the ground. You can see this door in front of you. Again, there is a large bar. You would imagine, should you have the strength of a giant, you could lift it.
Right. Or if we don't, then what is it? In me something sea stars.
You can see, so as you enter this room, you can see this huge door. There's this large quartz window. It just looks out onto clouds. However, Heinrich, you remember back to that room, the area that you could control Yorn from.
Mm-hmm.
You remember, you'd imagine if you look out this way, there was a section that you torched that would have been distantly out this window.
Yeah, the ship or
Um,
whatever.
the amber bask, yeah.
Right.
There's this large stone planter filled with pansies at the back. There are the sort of magical torches that are unlit on the western wall. You can see these glass baubles on either side, like a frosted glass with these little bits of metal woven around. And then you can see the in me see stars in giant that is neatly carved into the stone on the ground,
Mhm.
and this iron door in front.
Okay. Anyone got any ideas? It's obviously some kind of clue. We saw that the other contraption had controls or something, some reaction to flowers. I'm guessing that would open the doors eventually. Maybe this has something to do with these torches, lantern looking things.
See,
What does it
Kron's just kind
say?
of looking at it.
Well, it says in me see stars. I'm guessing somehow have to get starlight in there or star shaped flowers in there.
I mean, we got like see Kron's look out the window. I got like 3 hours to kill until it gets dark, so I don't know
I'm
about
gonna guess
starlight.
it's not literal. I'm gonna go ahead and guess that they don't mean put a star in there or starlight would automatically open a secure door every night. That doesn't seem like it would be a good defense mechanism.
No, that seems pretty bad.
Maybe it means in that room you see stars.
Okay.
So you think like space is on the other side of that door?
No, I mean it's probably like not actual stars.
Hmm.
Any of the flowers have star petal shapes or anything like that that we
Of
saw?
the ones that you've seen, not so far.
Okay. And then detect magic, just sweep around the room.
Sure. Casting Detect Magic and looking around this particular space, you see a few things. First of all, these magical lanterns, obviously that faint kind of glow that you would see from the same one. It's kind of this gray glow that you've seen previously across the one that you have. Interestingly, these glass baubles all light up a little bit as well.
Hmm.
Um, the glyphs on the ground are not magical in any way. The quartz window has a strong magical aura of abjuration. This window seems to be protected through magic.
Okay.
The
Imagining
door
that you
itself
can't smash it,
seems to be
basically.
magic as well. However, the door, more of an evocation magic. You'd imagine trapped in some way.
Right. Okay. All right. So window abjuration, door evocation. There's little crystal ball type things. They may have something to do with it.
Are you saying this out loud?
Yeah.
I would go and try to get a better look at probably the crystal balls first.
Okay.
Right.
What are you looking at them for?
Trying to see like are they connected to anything? Would they like is there some sort do they seem like they're active right now or is there some way to activate them?
Make an Arcana check.
Let me see. That's still a 17.
Okay. You look at them, they're not active. You can't see Heinrich's detect magic, and so you don't really benefit from that. But looking at them, they're not doing anything. You don't feel or hear the kind of low level hum that you hear when magical items activate. Um, However, Akka, you've been around a lot of magic, a lot of more mundane magic as well. Um, Not within the Dungannon Antiquities Collective itself, but in the museum above, along the central hallway that goes to this large fountain through which this gentle, almost like it looks like a time slowed water that falls. It's really just the way the light is set up in there. But there are these similar, not spheres, but there are these tiles of glass, and they're specifically designed so that when light falls on them, the drift globes that hang above go out. So that way, they're almost like light sensors, and in that way, you would imagine similar.
Okay. So how would you use it to turn the lights off?
Well, the lights are already off.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. So activating these, presumably the same method of activation or similar method.
With the 17, hard to tell. But it seems
Okay.
as if these are sensors, receptors, receivers, something of that nature.
Okay.
What is it that you're? What do you see over there? What are you picking
Well,
up on?
What would your elven eyes see?
Probably need to activate these.
How do they work?
Magic. Do I need to explain more than that?
Okay. What is the input that turns to an output? Does it look familiar to you? Have you seen anything like it before, I guess?
I mean, something similar, but is there anything else around that would relate to this with my knowledge of the other mechanism?
Sure. You turn your gaze to the right, and on the eastern wall, this massive window, you see the light streaming through it and touching these sort of orbs.
All right. I'm gonna go and try to cover the window. How large is the window?
The window's about
30
20
feet, right?
feet. I believe it's 20 feet
Alright.
long. Hang on. It's 25 feet long and roughly 15 feet high.
Okay.
It's a massive piece of quartz that allows a good amount of light to come through.
So I think if we block the light so that it simulates nighttime in here, that might do it.
Oh,
But you know,
Well,
Yeah,
like
but
this,
didn't
and I'll-
Heinrich already
and I'll
say
just
it wouldn't
cast-
make sense for a secure door to just open up at nighttime?
yeah. I feel like it's worth a shot. Maybe this window can be covered somehow. Maybe that's the trick, because it does have abjuration magic on it. Maybe it's always lit.
Karanza looks up. It's always lit. Karanza looks up. Yeah, well, did anybody bring like a banquet-sized tablecloth? Because that's kind of what we're gonna need, like a banner,
No.
something
Just
like that.
something like this, and I'll just cast darkness.
Okay,
Like
this
just
sphere
to
of
like
darkness.
obscure as much of the window as possible without like blinding us, basically.
It's what, a 20-foot wide sphere
15 radius, so 30 feet diameter.
in diameter, 10, 15. Okay, cool. So centering it right in the middle of the window and kind of shifting it out a little bit so it doesn't go over you.
Yeah.
You can black out most of it.
Perfect.
Around the faintest edges in the corners, you can see little streams of light. But as this appears and darkness takes most of the room, suddenly those two lanterns on. And as those lanterns glow with this faint magical light, similar to the one that you have, that light spills into these spheres. The room is still lit, just with a different light source.
well,
So the spheres. Okay. So two things happened. The spheres lit up, but then sorry, what was it exactly? One more
The
time?
lanterns lit up.
Okay.
And as the lanterns lit up, you can see, because of their positioning, light still kind of spilling over onto those ornaments.
So
There's no longer daylight coming through, but
Yeah.
there is still light.
You two guys got something to cover them with, maybe?
I guess you can see Karanza just takes off this sort of half cloak, just starts trying to throw it up. After a little bit, manages to throw it over one of the lanterns. It falls across and obscures the light.
I guess I would do the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You.
Kind of like
Here, I have this
rotate it.
priceless artifact you could use. The that shawl that I got from the first dungeon from the prophecy or whatever. What is it?
Are you actually offering that up?
No.
'Cause I would do that.
Oh, you mean the burial shroud of Vera Waith?
Yeah, exactly. Just something of
priceless,
extreme historic support importance.
It's like culturally very important to the elves. Yeah.
Yeah. Just throw it over. No, but I don't do that.
Would my bedroll work?
Yeah. That's big
Yeah,
enough.
I'd probably do that
You
instead.
take the bedroll, you open the part that you would normally climb into, and just kind of sack it over the lantern. You have to jump to do it. But as you do, finally, real darkness takes its place and nothing fills it. And as that happens, the door in front of you rises up, and you can see the hallway beyond. There is no light. It is a dark hallway. So you don't necessarily see the features within it, but the door is now open.
But with dark vision, we do, right?
With dark vision, yeah, sure. With dark vision, you can see grayscale, the sort of it's fairly blank cobblestone, unlike the hallway that Shae has just dropped in from. This does not seem to be blocked with any kind of magical ice. There's no creatures within it. It is just kind of a stone hallway that goes to some steps, and around where the steps are, that's right around where your dark vision kind of ends, and there's darkness. But you do see that there is more, kind of more of like a space. And over those stairs, you can see elements of these roots have grown through the wall, the stone in the interior, and kind of spilled over, crawling up the steps, kind of onto the platform above. Although you can't see much of the platform beyond that.
Cool. However, on the other side of the building,
so Shae,
it's really hard to
looking
do this
around.
2 puzzles at a time thing.
Yeah, no, trust me. And just for reference, that is the hallway.
Cool.
Shae, so you in
And
this
Glub.
space, and Glub, you also just kind of helping out. You are within this room. What would you like to do? Massive table, massive chair.
I want to look around and kind of see if I can figure out, one, what's in the space, and two, where the individual leaving the bloodstains could have gone.
Okay. Without even rolling, I mean, there isn't really hidden spaces. You move in like a circle around the room, keeping your back to the walls and looking behind and to the right of each of these kind of hexagonal platforms, just to make sure nobody's hiding behind them or to the side of them. You don't see anybody. Make an investigation check as you look for any signs of this individual.
So 17.
A 17. You don't find much. You look under the tables, you look for blood, you look for fabric. You kind of get up to this metal door underneath, and hard to see, but you realize almost immediately it's intentionally left because of the shape. But right in the center of the door, in the actual crevice between these two cobblestones, there is a little strip of purple fabric, almost as if it's inviting you in, although this door is sheer metal. There's no bar here, nothing to even lift it. There is symbology. Do you read Giant, Shae?
I do.
I do.
You don't. However, Glub the Grung.
Not wrong.
Glub.
Grunter.
Grung. Hey, human.
You over there, little blue man. You looking up, you do see written this word it's almost like raised lettering from the metal itself, from the stone. It's a single glyph that in Giant is the giant glyph for telekinesis.
Some sort of telekinesis seems to be required here.
Is that something you're able to do?
Oh no, I'm just a grung. I can touch it, but as we've found out, that is poisonous. Boy, I don't think
Kill
that
the
would be
door.
much use here.
Wonderful.
One of your other friends have any telekinetic abilities?
Possibly.
That Heinrich seems like he might have some sort of something.
Getting them here would be a struggle, though.
Oh yes, because the wire.
among other things. But yes.
Well, the frozen giant.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't. It was a little scary. But he's frozen, so it should be fine. Well,
There's nothing else in this room.
Other than what you found so far, no. It's fairly clean. A lot of dust has not settled here. I would say, unless there's something that you're specifically doing to try to determine that, with just the way that you've looked, just this kind of icy looking rose floating over this hexagonal thing. You can see this chair, this table, not a whole lot else.
is the icy rose like noticeably telekinesed right now?
Noticeably telekinesis.
Like
Make an
let
Arcana
out
check as
Glub's
you go
voice.
as you go over to it. Yeah, go take a look.
It's just like
But yeah, it's
Float.
probably the only other thing that I would also go check. Just because that's what there is.
oh neat. That's not very good. That's a 6. Oh
A
neat.
6. It
Oh,
certainly is neat, and however it's suspended, also equally neat, but not something that you're familiar with, and hard to tell if it's telekinetic. But you don't get the sense that it is. I mean, it's you don't really know what telekinesis is, but whatever it is, this is not it.
Oh, that's a cool looking flower. But I am at a loss.
Is there anything else around it, or is it just literally hanging in the air?
As far as you can tell, and given your passive perception, you can feel pretty confident. There is no like glass encasing it. There's no strings. There's nothing. It just seems to be hovering.
Okay,
It's as if it's frozen there. And actually, Shae, that is when you would kind of think back. When you were in the heart of Sunrest, you remember going into several places where things were suspended. Similar.
Gee, did you get it? He said a cool looking flower.
Who is he?
Are you
the nightmare man in your head?
hearing voices now, Glub?
Oh, wait. Because, it's made of ice. Or covered in ice. This is a cool flower. Get it? Where's it go?
Glub,
Yes,
it's at
it
about
is.
this point you realize maybe your audience, this is not the right one.
Oh, okay. Guess I'll keep all of my witticisms to myself then.
Glub, how dangerous do you feel like getting?
Oh, well, I like to think that I live somewhat dangerously.
Fair enough. I want to reach out and touch this flower.
Okay. You reach out, and it's about 7 feet up. But for you, if you want to just kind of hop and grab it, you certainly can.
Yeah.
You leap up, you grab this flower. Make a wisdom saving throw.
I would be careful there, Shae. You shouldn't touch things that don't belong to you.
22.
22. Okay. You touch this flower just barely, just for an instant. Your skin contacts the edge of one of these petals. There is a sharp pain in your finger, and you draw away in time. For a moment, you feel your breath almost freeze in your lungs before you pull away. You've never experienced anything like that. Guntir, make an intelligence
Glub?
saving throw. Glub, no. Well, actually, Guntir, make an intelligence saving throw.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. Okay. In this moment, as you see Shae touch this and draw back quickly, you see the spark of arcane energy between the petal and her finger. And for a moment, you feel as if fingers pull from the back of your mind, like something trying to escape. But it doesn't. Maybe just nightmares.
Are you okay, Shae?
Yeah.
Looked like a pretty bad electrical shock or something.
It's
Got
cold.
static electricity.
It's cold.
Well, I guess it's a cold flower. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Give him like the faintest smile just to make him feel better.
Just like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and the smiles don't like sit naturally on Shae's face either. It's an unfamiliar expression.
So should we go back, or should we figure out what telekinesis is?
Do you have any idea where to start?
Well, I would have said the flower, but now I wouldn't say the flower. Oh.
Probably not.
I'm gonna like awkwardly just kind of look around. Oh, jeez.
Meanwhile, while this riveting part of the adventure is happening, Heinrich, you and your cluster are in front of this dark hallway. You see the stairways rising up and beyond something.
Okay. Shoot.
So
Let me
we
think
open the
here.
door now.
Hold on a
What?
sec. Yeah, I'll.
I love that Matt's in all the action.
I know, right?
Put
Genius.
myself up just right. I'm gonna detect magic, sweep the room.
Okay. Your eye, this single celestial sigil flares to life in your eye. And as it does, there is this wave of energy that sweeps the hallway in front of you. Nothing immediately magical comes to mind. What's the range on this?
Detect magic is 30 feet.
The range of this extends right up to the stairs, but you feel confident between you and the stairs, there is nothing magical.
Yeah, maybe this is one of those safe, empty hallways in places that hold traps, but maybe not. I don't know. Knowing that there's nothing arcane, I'll start looking for more physically based traps.
Okay, make an investigation check.
As I slowly move through the room too, doing it like sweeping around. Ugh.
So you're basically like slowly walking through, your eyes like glued to the ground, looking at the wall, anything that could be some element of trap or likewise.
Doesn't
Did
matter.
you-
It was an 8.
Nate?
Pass
It
through
was-
the
Safe
door.
hallway.
Huh?
Do what?
Did you already pass through the door?
Yeah. I'm just slowly walking.
Probably be like, the door's gonna shut when your spell ends, probably. And then you're gonna be stuck on that side.
Or
Did you think about that, or?
okay, so we open the door and then what? We don't go through it. Cool. All right. And I'm just
Well,
gonna keep
I
going.
Heinrich
I don't wanna get locked
continues
in.
down the hall.
Can't straddle it off forever.
You continue going when you get close to the stairs, your dark vision extending as you do. And as you do, this space beyond the stairs kind of begins to take shape. The first thing that you see, Heinrich, because you're always looking for it, on the right-hand side on the ground. And this would be small writing for a giant, but for you, each rune is about a foot long. The runes begin to shift and turn, and you can see this is 3 words. And actually, I'll just send you this little graphic in the Discord, so we can post this for Twitch. But you see first the elements on the right-hand side, and as they shift and change, it reads. Let me just read this to make sure I get it absolutely right. It reads. Awaken the. Give me 1 second here. Awaken the ficus.
We're like, another plant thing.
And you still have detect magic up. Now, question: is detect magic concentration?
Yeah, it is. It would have gotten rid of the darkness.
Fair enough. So, you cast detect magic going through the doorway.
Yeah.
The doorway would slowly begin to shut. The metal shifting down in the stone bearings. Ak, are you going through or staying on the other side?
I'm not getting locked in there until nighttime. That's what I was just avoiding.
You see, for a brief moment,
I'll turn around and be like, I'll see you in a minute.
and for a brief moment, you can see Carranza not quite making up her mind before she goes, "No, I'm sticking with you." And she leaps through, kind of sliding through, and it's shutting fairly like slowly. So you realize she probably didn't need to do that, but she pulls herself up right as it shut. Aka, you now
Damn
on
it,
one
I'm so
side.
stuck.
And Morwen.
It's Aka and Morwen in the center. You guys are split into 3 equally sized parties now. So great.
Oh.
Yeah, you haven't been doing anything, so you're still just standing in that room.
Well, no, I have been doing something, actually, if you
Okay.
want to know. It's taking another bellflower and making it a little skirt. So now I have a head piece and a matching skirt.
So almost like an hourglass of bellflowers, one up, one down. You were wearing one as a hat and one as, or actually really more of like a stack.
Yeah.
But now that I
Heinrich-
have
A
my
stack of
outfit,
cups.
I will now
A stack of
try
cups.
to find a friend.
Heinrich, the space that you can see as you get to the top of the steps, you see a huge, like an armchair of kind of overstuffed plush. It's like 15 feet. It's a huge chair. There's a small table next to it, and you can see a giant-sized book about 3 feet long, 1.5 wide, just on the table. You can't read it as it's kind of up above your eye line. There's a huge bookcase, although many of its contents kind of crumbling with age, although there are a few books that are still intact. You can see a huge flower bed directly in front of you. There are all sorts of brightly colored flowers here. You can see from the light coming in from one of these kind of crystal things, although looking at it, much darker. Something's covering these windows from the outside. But you see elements of what looks like maybe just different kinds of plant matter. You see a mortar and pestle, the giant, up on the edge of this. And then there are other things on the table, but from your perspective, you can't quite see. All the way at the end of the room, you can see another flower bed, other flowers kind of growing out of it, and then a huge iron door on the western side beyond the bookcase.
All right. Carranza.
Yeah.
We're looking for a ficus that we have to awaken somehow.
Okay, I don't know if you know this. I can't see anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. And here, give me your arm. Do you have like a bracer or something?
Yeah, and you feel the arm kind of just collide with your shoulder before she pulls back, and
well, I would be able to see and like not, you know.
Yeah, so she kind of like reaches and she's like about to just kind of reach into your chest. You kind of turn to the side, but just tapping her bracer. Light takes the space. It shines out, kind of casting sinister shadows across the far walls, but otherwise illuminating the space fairly well.
Sorry, one more time. Ficus. I don't really, off the top of my head, know what they look like. Are there any visible plants that are like...
Make a nature check.
I mean, can I see any plants currently?
Yeah, you can see there's flowers directly in front of you. There's far, far back, there's more flowers. You can see there's like an element of a big twisted branch on the table. This table, by the way, 30 feet long, 15 feet wide, about 10 feet tall. It's like a workstation about that you would imagine if this was scaled down to a human size, would come up right about the chest height. So it's definitely meant to be worked on. It's like a workbench.
Yeah.
You see these twisting roots twisting in as well from the west southwest.
Right. So I'm just like muttering ficus. That's a 19 for nature.
19.
Yeah.
You know, they're not terribly common, and actually they don't grow around Port Quinn. But you've read about ficus in your pursuit of just various bits of knowledge. It's kind of tree. Sometimes more of a shrub, but they tend to grow together pretty tightly, and the trunks typically undergo a process where they'll grow up and then kind of just grow together, and they form these sort of twisted gnarls. And thinking back to that main door, that's fairly similar, and you look to the left and these twisted roots all reaching through the wall. That might be the ficus.
Okay.
And now you begin to think these roots, they extend through this entire structure.
Yeah. Awaken the ficus, is that a threat or advice? I have no idea. What do you think?
You have detect magic up, right?
Well, not with light. Oh wait, no.
Okay.
Is light? No,
Light's not concentration. So turning and looking, the window has a faint magicalness to it, but not like the rest of the windows. It has that as well, but almost layered across like a film. there is this abjuration magic, very, very faint, probably a lower level spell, but it seems like the words are connected. And you would imagine breaking into this window would result in this, whatever this kind of arcane glyphs are, they seem to, that would trigger. Entering in from the middle, probably you're okay, but you still may not want to touch that.
Touch what?
The window.
The window. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, for the pursuit of that first door, I'm just going to collect any plants that all look discreetly different from each other and just
Okay.
sort of pop them in the bag.
Yeah, you. There's 3 different species within. You
Mhm.
grab 1 or 2 of each and put them in your bag.
Okay. And then go over to the other door and see if there's any sort of mechanism tied to it.
Okay. You go over to this door. You can see this huge metal bar. You'd imagine, just like the others, a giant could lift this. You don't immediately see a mechanism, but your eyes immediately turn to the left. You see this big bookcase, 20
Mhm.
feet long, almost 20 feet tall. And there are quite a few books within the space. You turn, and kind of behind you, there's another book that's kind of, it's closed, but it's on that table.
Mhm.
You don't see any mechanisms. And you haven't seen mechanisms necessarily here. And
That's
thinking
true.
back,
Your
this is,
magic.
this is thousands of years old. This structure, there aren't so many mechanical parts that you've noticed. It seems to be brute force magic.
Yeah. Okay.
And a lot of flowers.
Yeah. I'll attempt to mage hand down the book unless it's too heavy.
What is the weight limit for mage hand? Off the top of my head,
It's
I
like
don't
10
know.
pounds.
10
10
pounds?
pounds. Yeah.
This book is too heavy.
Okay. I'll climb up the chair then instead.
Okay. Heinrich, not gracefully, but you do climb up to the chair.
Yeah.
It's tall. You get onto the cushion, and as you do, there is a slight give to it. This is like hide that's been tanned and then stretched. It's like a leather chair. This is a nice chair. You climb onto the armrest and reach across what is like a 10-inch gap. Sliding this over, first of all, across the cover, there are runes in giant, and it just reads journal. It
This is gonna take a
looks,
while.
yeah, it looks to be a journal, although it's quite large.
Yeah.
And looking down, what is your passive perception?
12.
Okay, yep, that's what you see.
Okay. Hey, do you want to give me a hand getting this thing off the table? I'm gonna start like sliding to the edge. Be like, do you want to? I'll hold it and lower it, and you can catch it and lower it. Let's.
You see Karanza looking up at you. I mean, I could try. I'm a wizard.
It's
I'm
not
not
that
like.
heavy.
Okay.
Is it that
Look,
heavy? I'll give it a test.
She rolls up her. You lift it up. It's like, this thing is probably like close to 50 pounds, and you're going to be dropping it off a table that's.
All right. Well, then never mind. Why
about
don't you
15
come
feet
up
up.
here instead? Fine. Let's not damage it. Let's just get up here and
Yeah,
let's...
let's not damage the book by dropping.
Oh no!
it on
No!
a person.
What are we trying to do? We're trying to just get the book down.
I mean, read it, but I guess if I don't know, you probably can't read giantish, can you?
Can't you just push it off the thing and it'll fall? And
All right.
you shove it onto the ground. Little bits of dust from the floor up. Karan's just okay. Pulls the cover open. You see all these giant runes. She looks at it. Yeah, I can't read this.
Okay. Well, if there were any spells or diagrams, maybe help out. But let's pore over this for a while.
Okay.
See if there's any clues.
You begin to read through, and Heinrich, these glyphs just they rearrange themselves in front of your eyes. You can read this no problem. You
I'll read it out loud for the
through
sake
a little
of...
bit. Okay.
Yeah.
You begin to read through, and without going like page by page, this journal, maybe about 60 pages. It's not huge. The paper all roughly made. This is an old book. There are notes and diagrams and details, experiments. The first thing that you notice, within the cover, there's a name, and it's familiar to you. Werton. the same name that is of that tomb that you had taken that lantern from, similar to the lanterns that you see hung in this building. You also notice that a lot of these experiments are about using various kind of plant properties and herbology because Werton wants to be larger and stronger. He mentions other details. Make an investigation check as you kind of like read through this.
Piece it together. That is, oops, plus investigation. We got 19.
19, okay. You could see he's tried many things, grounding different plants into pastes and eating them. He's tried topical things. You see notes where he has had terrible rashes and various side effects of these sort of more homeopathic sort of treatments. However, towards the end of this, you can see maybe there's like 10 blank pages at the end, but towards the end, he begins to work with this. And there are various mentions actually to this point of the ficus tree. The ficus tree. It's called the ficus. It's proper noun.
Yeah, important basically.
It is listed as a guardian, as a companion. It is spoken to almost as if bouncing ideas. Werton was a lonely individual, but he did really care about plants. You get towards the end where he's experimenting with this ficus and using elements of other plants to try to make this plant grow. There are areas where he notes resounding success and this thing growing much larger and almost out of control. And then there are parts where it truly is out of control, and you see where it has to spend a decent amount of time trying to figure out how to calm this plant down. But as you're reading this, you begin to look down and you see these huge roots that have punctured through the stone. It begins to make you feel a little bit uneasy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The last sentence of this, and there are notes also kind of about how he was trying to eat this fruit that he traded with a frost giant from the halls of Ire, which is a place that you haven't really heard much about. He traded it from a small clipping of a tree that's on the main avenue. The frost giant was really fascinated with it, and he said, if this works, I may just be able to stop using the belt for strength. I need to lift these cursed doors. And then you see it signed Werton, and as you turn that page, it is just blank. That seems to be the last entry.
Belt. All right. Looks like whoever wrote this journal lived in this area, used some kind of belt. Not like they would part with it, but they were using it to lift these doors. I'm guessing some kind of strength enhancing belt. Maybe we could check around for it. Turn the place upside down. Want to help?
I mean, yeah, we can definitely look like a belt, we're looking for a giant size belt, right? Because
I don't know. Because this guy talked a lot about enlarging and stuff. Maybe he wasn't a giant.
well, no, I mean that would kind of make sense because for giants, the whole thing about I don't know how much you've read about them, but basically the way the giant culture is, if you're really big and strong, you're kind of in charge. And there's a thing called the ordning, I think, and it has to do with how big each giant is and where they fall in a social structure. So if there was kind of, like a wimpy giant, they would have a lot of interest in getting stronger. So probably a giant, but just, kind of a wimpy
giant.
one. Or, you know what, actually, look around this place. What do you notice? And she kind of like points over at the large table. I've
you're
done
right.
a lot of
if you worked
experiments in
here-
my time. I would imagine kind of similar to me, gifted in other places, but not strength,
Sure.
So while very interesting, I don't know where we would find a belt. I imagine it would be giant size though.
We probably would
And
have noticed it by now.
well, what troubles me too, there's a lot of beautiful things here, and I don't think this place has really been rifled through too much. I don't see evidence of like looting necessarily, which as a scholar makes me very excited about those books. But what worries me about that is, for giants, a lot of times their better belongings are buried with them or they're buried in them. So if this is like a prized possession,
Yeah.
probably long gone.
Or with whatever creature he has become.
I mean, that was thousands of years ago,
No,
even
you
for like
remember that crypt? We were there near that crypt.
yeah.
I'm assuming that's where he was buried. It's the same name, journal, and on the markings there.
That I did not know. That's a kind of a crucial piece of information.
Well, I said I
So
was reading the whole thing out loud.
no, but you never told her the name of Wharton's tomb.
Oh,
You
yeah,
knew from
true,
the
'cause
first
that was
time, but
the
she
key.
wasn't there.
Right. No, she
Okay,
was.
so with that,
She came with. Whatever.
you heard it was Wharton's tomb the first time that you went to Yorn.
Oh, right. Not the last. Yeah, duh.
So
Right.
she never got to hear it called that. So
Now she
now,
does.
with that important piece of information, you remember how I was excited about something being cool down there? I really feel like there's probably a lot of cool shit down there, and we should maybe try to check it out respectfully. Whatever you're trying to do,
Sure.
great.
When we know it's empty too. I mean, there was movement and noise the last time we were there, so.
It's probably like vultures or something,
Well, this place is weird. I don't know. We'll see. Right now, we got to get through this next door or figure out. I mean, I know how to get through these doors, but I don't know how to get back through them. That's the problem.
Yeah,
quick
I
jumps.
actually,
Quick jumps
I was
through
gonna
space.
say,
Shut up.
we could just take the flowers and try them at the main door, but there's that other door, and I don't really know how to get back through that one, so
Yeah.
it's troubling.
Don't want to burn all of our assets too quickly.
I got one more kind of trick. It's a little bit more violent, and I usually like to save it for like conflict kind of things. But if we really need to get through a wall or a door, I could probably disintegrate it.
Phew. Cool.
But again, like that's a one
Save
and
it for
done.
our
And
exit.
then,
Save it for our exit. Our quick
So-
escape when we're running in fear from this living tree. Assuming.
I mean, all trees are living until they die.
Yeah, violent tree, apparently. I don't know. You heard how he was talking about it.
Kind of looks down. Yeah, but it's that was thousands of years ago. Look at this thing, and she just kind of kicks the edge of it. It's a tree.
Okay. Just saying. All right. So this next door, it's not like there's no bowls next to it. There's no orbs with light next to it. The only thing that's weird about this room is the awaken the ficus.
And as you get close, if you really kind of center yourself on the door, you will see similar to the door, unbeknownst to you, but opposite, and perhaps across a central room.
Yeah.
There is another door that has that same kind of. It says telekinesis on it, or it's the arcane sigil for telekinesis.
Yeah. If only this had been 2 months from now when I had my ring.
When you were buying that ring, I was like, oh man.
Yeah. Well, it's just, timing is never our thing in this.
Well,
there's a few things you guys have timed like perfectly, which I think are really funny, but
so there's no books on the wall, any notes on magical properties of plants granting telekinesis or something.
Make an investigation check. Looking through
There's a lot of books, you said.
There are, and the bindings kind of like slumped over. There are parts where the pages have crumbled and the books kind of bow in, but these strange misshapen glyphs. 20?
Dirty 20.
Still, that's great. You look through, and eventually one of the things that you do find, what are you looking for specifically?
So this guy was obsessed with plants and its, transformative properties and stuff like that. Anything that could grant a person limited telepathy, telekinesis kind of, or something similar that would tie to the door.
Sure. So looking at this, you kind of go through. You don't find anything that would give you telekinesis.
Yeah,
that's kind of a very specific
Hail
thing.
Mary.
Although there is a book that has like a selection of plants from different planes. You see with a 20 various things. You see everything from, and one that would be very interesting to you in this regard. There are these kind of floating, almost like puffs. They look similar. There's illustrations, and it looks similar to like a dandelion when it's in that kind of, where you can blow on it and it kind of the puffball form. They grow in the Feywild. The roots, or not the roots, the stem of it, almost like a vine that is connected to the ground, but they float. That is the closest thing that you think has properties that are interesting in that regard. But you see various other things. You see roses from the elemental planes that have peculiar properties. You can see there is a bush from apparently a different planet that can grow into these like thorny, almost maze-like structures. but nothing that would directly give you telekinesis.
And there's nothing in this room that would be related to that either, right? None of the plants I had.
No, and so you do grab like a guide to flowers, and looking through, you can find that these with a 20, the flowers in this room are tulips, brown-eyed Susans, and geraniums,
Mhm.
but
Okay.
just very large versions of them.
Right. Okay.
And actually, you know what I'd say?
Morwen.
As you kind of look around, you also do find, and kind of getting on the chair, looking across to that table, you can see on top of it, there is like a mortar and a pestle. There are like glass tubes that are kind of almost like test tubes, although they're about the size of your forearm.
Mhm.
And in those, you can actually see a couple little seeds. You see a piece of parchment that is dried up, curling in on itself. There is writing on it. You can't read it from this far, but you'd imagine touching it, this thing will crumble. So if you are to read it, you would need to be very careful.
Yeah.
But that is kind of all that you see in this room.
I'll try to climb the table and check out the paper without touching it.
Okay. You climb up the table. I would say you just take some time to do it. You kind of climb up to
Yeah.
the planter and like climb up on the planter, and then manage to get your arm up and swing your leg and roll onto the table. You're face to face with this mortar. You
Mhm.
stand up now on this table looking down. You see Carranza, who just kind of nods to you. You turn back around. You see this huge, what looks like it's almost like a small tree in and of itself down on the table. You can see peering into the mortar, there is crumbled bits of, at first, almost it looks like ice mixed with like mud. But then you realize there's something about this. It does release cold, but it's not melting. And you think back to the ice that you saw beneath the ground here in Yorn, similar,
Mhm.
some kind of elemental ice, some other kind of, and then you think back to the journal. You remember him mushing up a fruit given to him by a frost giant. Perhaps this might have been the last thing that Wharton ate. You think to the fact that Wharton has a tomb,
Yeah.
very likely that this is the thing that Wharton ate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm gonna kind of avoid that for
Sure.
now, and then that paper, just see if there's anything useful
Okay.
on it without touching it.
You begin to look at this paper. Morwen, you and Akka are currently just in the central chamber. Is there anything that the two of you are doing?
Aka, would you
So-
like a matching set as well?
You can see Morwen wearing a little, it's like a flower skirt that goes from hip to knees, and then a flower hat that has two eye holes and goes down to like mid chest. It's an odd looking thing.
So we're just. Do they do this often?
Who are you talking to?
Which one?
To Morwen.
Okay.
Which one? Shae
I
or
told him
Heinrich?
that the door was gonna. Now he's. We have to wait till it gets dark now. They're gonna be stuck in there for at least a couple hours. And then Shae just went off. No foresight. No planning. What? Yeah, give me one of those flowers. Fuck it.
Yeah,
Got
that's what
time
we're
to kill.
talking about. And I'm gonna open one of my bottles of wine. It's a
Okay.
party.
Sure. You open the bottle of wine.
One of my cheapo ones.
Okay, and you
I'm
guys
not
start
doing
to.
like the black label bourbon or anything.
Aka, you now have a flower hat. You kind of pull some holes out of it and look through, and you guys have wine and hats.
I think I would
and,
make like a head hole so that it's kind of like
like a big ruffly
over
collar.
my shoulders. Yeah.
Sure, yeah. So you do that. You cut the top off, and you pull it down. It kind of falls over, almost like pauldrons, except like real doofy looking, and it goes down to below your belly. So it's basically like a tunic. Um, you look almost like you're wearing a blue banana costume. Um, and
All
you
right,
guys
pass
start
me
to
some of
drink.
that wine.
So I mean, how long has it been?
At this
all
point,
around,
it's
like
maybe been
since
like 10
People
minutes.
started separating. Oh, it's
Oh,
only been
maybe
10
like
minutes?
since people started separating, about half an hour.
Okay. Alright, so I've been fucking around for half an hour. Okay. Alright, I'll quit fucking around in the next 15. Give me a solid 45.
Okay.
I'll just drink a little while.
Okay. Sure. You guys
Get a
drink
couple
little bit of this
hours
cheap
at least.
wine, and you guys play dress up. Shae
It's a tea party.
and Glub. Because Matt's involved in all of these. Matt, you want to be Carranza too?
Why the hell not?
Shae and Glub, what are you guys doing? You're within this room.
I think I would climb up on the table, see if I can
Okay.
see anything from there or up there.
Climbing up onto the table with your passive perception, there's an area on this table that is dust-free. Not quite a circle, almost. It's as if something from the center of this circle of dust-free space let out like a little breeze. But you don't really see anything. Make an investigation check. You get like really close. You look for blood. You look for fabric.
You find anything?
I'm
up
also
there, Shae?
looking up as well, and that's only going to be a 12.
There's a ceiling above you and a table beneath you, but not much else.
Anything up there?
No. I'll drop back down to Glub.
Okay.
Do
Maybe
you
we should.
want to go back and rejoin them? Let me know what we found. I'll follow in just a moment.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, it seems like we're at a bit of an impasse here. So, unless you can telekinesis in the next couple of minutes.
The only other thought I had was to knock.
Oh well, that. If someone's back there, maybe they'd let us in. But it seemed pretty locked when we came in.
The question is, do you want to remain when I do? Or do you want to go back and let them know what we found?
Well, I should probably let them know that you're okay, and then I can come back and make sure you're okay again, I guess, because,
If I
you know,
don't...
the first, I was supposed to come and let them know, and they're probably worried about me now, so, well,
why
I would
don't
be worried about
you
me.
Go let them know, and if I don't follow in 10 minutes, you can come
Okay.
back.
Okay, well, I'll head back then, and I'll come check on you in a couple of minutes.
Sounds good.
Maybe I'll see if anyone else can telekinesis,
There
because
you
maybe
go.
that would help.
Sounds
Okay,
like a plan.
well, good luck, and don't be careful, okay?
Glub turns and just walks back. You see little sticky fingers up the ice wall, sliding a little bit with each thing, but getting up there. You see the blue grung legs kind of scramble and then disappear as Glub, you begin to crawl back. Shae, what are you doing?
I'm gonna walk over to the door, and this bit of fabric that I can see, is it just stuck there? Is it covering something? Is it...
Are you going to try to pull it?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to pull it.
Okay. You pull it, comes away. You know, it just snags a tiny bit, which would indicate to you that this door was open at one point.
Mm-hmm.
But as you pull it, it tears away a little bit. And as it does, you notice that there have been 3 small notches that have been almost cut or pulled away from it. It's in a very distinct pattern, and so you imagine it is intentional, but you don't know what that means. This is not... There are elements of it that remind you of Zinyi code, but this is
Mhm.
clearly different.
Right.
Almost amateurish.
Hmm. I'm gonna put a hand up to the door.
Okay.
And I'm gonna knock a couple times.
Okay. You go up to the metal door and you knock. Glub, in your little ice corridor, you hear it just kind of echo around you. No response.
She's okay.
I'm gonna wait 5 minutes and then head back if nothing happens.
Okay. You wait 5 minutes. Nothing seems to happen. And you head back. Meanwhile, Heinrich,
Yes.
myself. What are you guys doing?
So we
What
are
are we doing?
um that paper, I guess.
On the table?
Yeah.
Okay. You go over and you can see it's almost like a formula. It's an alchemical kind of formula, and you can see it is designed to create frost giant strength, is kind of what the formula is for. You see elements of an elemental fruit from the frost plane. You see elements of the ficus listed. There are a few other little bits and bobs. What really draws your attention to this, though, um, the word for this fruit. It is what is called an Orvan fruit, and
Mhm.
that pulls at your memory too. Although you cannot, for the life of you, kind of think of why, unless you, Miles, can think of why.
Mm. Orvan fruit. Is that the same thing that Ortude had growing?
No,
Hmm. Orvan fruit seems so randomly obscure. My brain doesn't remember.
it's really obscure. If you have notes on it, that would be pretty amazing. But it's
Yeah, I have a feeling
there's
that it
something
was a
about that.
mentioned in passing kind of thing. I'm gonna go ahead and say probably not if I find it all
Okay.
randomly remember it. But okay, so that's pretty much what this paper is, though. It's just like probably what's in that mortar and pestle.
Yes,
Um,
and you would imagine, based on the fact that Wharton's not here and has a tomb, it's
yeah,
probably
it's a
not a
dwarf.
successful amalgamation of ingredients.
So I'm not really gonna be worried about that as much.
Okay.
And so the only other thing up here are these vials,
Mhm.
right?
And
And
looking at them, there's two glass vials. They each have a couple of seeds, each about the size of like a pool ball. They're large.
Okay. Um, and they don't have any magical properties to them.
With the tech magic up, you don't notice anything magic about them.
Okay.
They seem like probably seeds from just an enlarged, giant-sized plant.
Okay. I mean, I'll keep them.
Okay. You take them. Each one's about the size of your forearm. You have to lift them out of this wooden kind of rack, but you can add 2 vials of giant seeds.
2 giant seed vials. Okay. Shit. So aside from telekinesis, this door, I mean, can the two... Hey, Karanza,
Yeah. Yeah.
you can... I know you said you're kind of getting spent on what you can help out with, magically. Can you, like, move stone up? Could you, like, take the ground beneath this door that's barring our entrance and lift it? Or
Uh,
is that a little much?
I can. I mean, like, so as like a transmuter, there's like a little bit of minor alchemy that I can do, but it's really no more than like a cubic foot of material that I can change.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
that would maybe enough just to get the door moved. I don't know. Maybe not.
I
Because,
think
like,
at best I might be able to like bore a little hole through and we could look. Um, but I mean, again, I do have that one use of disintegrate. I could turn you into an animal. I could turn me into an animal.
yeah,
Uh,
maybe not the best way to do this. Um, maybe these windows. There's the whole thing with the last room was windows. Maybe it's
yeah.
something to do with getting light to come through these windows. What's blocking them? Can we
The
see?
windows, you kind of look out, make a perception check. It's difficult to see through the courts, but perhaps
Yeah, not gonna help. 6. Is there something
darkness.
there, or is it?
Yes, it seems as if something is kind of draped down and over, or fallen down, or grown down. Perhaps more of the ficus, perhaps elements of the roof that have crumbled down on top. It's hard to tell, but something's blocking it, and not
Uh,
entirely, but
yeah.
for the most part.
That's my only guess. Is bringing more light in to awaken the ficus.
You hear suddenly far through this door, come, come.
What the?
And from the side of your door,
Mhm.
faintly, you hear shifting. There's something in there.
Yeah. I wonder if that's where our mystery friend is. Maybe not friend. The mystery person is. I would only guess. God, we gotta get this door open. If only everyone was here, maybe we could lift it. Why don't we go back? Because I don't want to awaken this ficus. I'm pretty on edge about the whole thing. So even if that's a way to open this last door, maybe not the best idea. Let's go back to the other door and see if they're still on the other side of it.
Yeah, okay, works for me. And she turns and heads down the hallway, holding her lit armband out in front, just kind of like lighting the steps as she descends them. You
Mhm.
follow. You come to this big steel door. Shae, this is right about the time that you turn around as well. So you're looking at the ice at this moment. The two of you looking at this metal door. Akka and Morwen just drinking and wearing flowers on the other side. As a group, you guys are all roughly like 50 feet apart from each other in different stretches of the space, arranged in roughly a U. But as you guys are all kind of coming back towards that central chamber, for sake of ease, unless there's anything you're trying to do hidden from the others, you kind of meet in this corridor now, except for Heinrich and Carranza, who are on the other side of this metal door.
Mhm.
But Glub, Shae, you come back to see Morwen and Akka drinking wine, wearing flowers as clothes.
Hi. Oh, I like your outfits.
Thank you very much. I made them.
Very stylish.
Yeah, it's a new
Um,
trend.
Shae is okay. We found a door with well, we couldn't open it. It said telekinesis on it, so that was that. Oh. Okay. Well,
Every time.
if I can get to the door, then I can probably open it.
Well, there's a bunch of blades you have to walk through.
I'm gonna knock on our
Yeah.
side of the door too.
How many times are you knocking?
Just twice, I guess.
You guys hear this echoing from to the right. I would say, Heinrich, with that, you hear another shift a little further away from the door as if something took a step back.
Uh-huh.
How long are we?
No, not the door with the guy behind it.
Gotcha,
Because we had
gotcha.
already walked back through the dark hallway.
So
thinking
you guys
starlight.
definitely hear from this
Yeah.
door that Heinrich is through.
How long have we been drinking?
Only about 15 minutes.
Okay.
You guys aren't
Yeah,
like
I said
sauced.
we were only going to mess around for 45 minutes and then I was
That's
going to
true.
change activities.
So I'm trying to get their attention. That's
Heinrich locked himself in,
Ah,
so you want some wine? Oh,
me? Oh.
I'll have a little.
all.
You see this grung take the bottle, the hands wrapping around it, kind of you have to two-hand hold it, holding it up. Make a constitution saving throw at disadvantage. You are tiny.
I am immune
Small.
to poison.
This is true. You know what then? Don't make that check. I forgot about that. That's right, you're a grung. You drink it. It tastes kind of like sour grapes.
Tastes
Doesn't
like
feel
sour
anything.
grapes.
Wait, oh my god, if you're immune to poison, can you never get drunk?
Yep.
Well, I guess so.
Wow.
They have to do other
You know
things.
what? Maybe we shouldn't bring like Guntir mentally back. That'll piss him off.
I'll knock again. Just be like, is Shae there?
You don't hear the voice. This is a thick metal door, but you hear faintly the clang.
All right, I'll go over to the door and knock.
Yeah, you locked yourself in.
Here,
Like I said you would.
If you go up to the door and yell that, you can faintly hear the voice through.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have yelled it. I wouldn't have moved. I'm still drinking.
So you don't hear Akka.
I'll yell through it to if anyone's on the other side. Be like, the last door needs telekinesis to get through. I think. Does anyone? Can
What?
anyone do that?
What?
Karans looks up at you. Why don't you just use message and just tell him?
How thick is this door? I mean, I'll try.
Oh.
I'll aim at their direction. I'll just be like, hello, hello, hello,
And
hello,
on the
hello.
other side, I'm just doing cartwheels. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm trying to find
At
Shae.
a certain point, each of you would hear Heinrich's hello as it just kind of sweeps across.
Oh,
Uh,
so
Hello?
he realized he's locked in.
It's like somebody kind of sweeping a stick around in a dark room to try to not bump into things. You're just
I'll just
sweeping the spell around.
I'll just sweep it and just be like, open the door, block the light, open the door, block the light, open the door, block the light.
What light?
The window.
The one that is 15 by 20 feet.
Oh, yeah. Why don't we just cast darkness? Because we can do that.
That's
Don't
what I
we?
was.
Chugging the
I-
wine and walking away.
I'm just gonna like look at
Only
Kronza and
one
be like,
with
Kronza,
sense.
do you mind? Kronza, do you mind if I just move us beyond this door?
I'm sorry, you can just move us beyond this door?
Yeah, but I can only do it a limited amount of times.
Yeah,
Just
please.
one other
please.
person. Okay.
Let's just do
All
it.
right, I'll dimension door myself like 10 feet forward on the other side of the door with her as well.
You just reappear on the other side. You feel the sensation of movement. You step through this portal. You appear with Carranza. And as you appear in this space, you can all hear Carranza just go, could have done this like 5 minutes ago. And then
Yeah.
you guys are all now within the same space.
And I'll just I'll like notably pull out and like activate the Pearl of Power while looking at her and being like, well, I'm not a wizard.
You can see looking at that. Whoa, time out. You just carry things like this around? You didn't think like maybe you're trying to sell that?
Nope.
You sure?
Yep.
Yeah, how much
You
money
guys
did you
don't try to sell
buy?
anything. Jeez.
Nope.
All right.
Welcome
So
back.
Anyways, hi. Yeah, so
Thank
door
you.
on the other end, Telekinesis. Guy who used to run this joint, probably the dude in the tomb, died because of some shitty experiment because he was kind of a crazy alchemist, we're guessing. And the last door, we need Telekinesis to get through. So if we could all get
Okay.
through this door and go all
also, Heinrich's really afraid of a tree.
Yeah. This guy was talking about it as if it was living, and it's the tree that's kind of pierced its way through this entire building. If it has
Well,
any
all
semblance of
trees are living.
sentience, yeah, no shit.
Shae
But I
and
mean,
Glub, the two of
actively
you,
conscious.
hearing this, remember, you had just climbed over this huge hallway of ice and frozen within. You saw this massive root twisting and spearing straight through not just this frost giant, not just its armor, but through the stone itself. Not in just the floor, but also again through the wall. There may be some truth to that.
Look, ancient mad scientists of some kind, ancient mad herbologists of some kind are, I don't know, maybe they were onto something. This place is definitely weird, but
All
There's
right. Well,
nothing weird about it. While I'm dressed up in like flowers and drinking and laughing at you about being scared at a tree.
You see the cat eyes through this. There's also now a mouth hole, I guess. Assume that you carved, so you can drink through it.
like nice new get out, Morwen.
Thanks.
so which way do we want to go? Because you both come back and are both at an impasse with this. But
Yeah.
You know, realistically,
Good
if
thing
we're
you
just trying to
have
get
me.
through the middle door, I could just disintegrate that part because
I can.
we have
I
an
can
open door behind us, and we could just go straight through the middle.
just bring me to the telekinesis door.
Well, what? Here. Okay.
Look,
Okay.
if you
wait,
only
so-
have one use of that left, save it for an emergency. That's what I've been trying to do with, how we just stepped through the door. Didn't want to have to do that, but seeing as how no one's really helping move things forward,
Oh, sorry,
don't
we
we-
didn't help you unlock yourself from the place that I told you
didn't
not to
need
go
it. It's
into.
fine. Don't worry
because you
about
were
it. And it
gonna
was not
unlock
dangerous at all. So all we can do is either go back forward this way or that way. I don't want to go through the middle. That's probably where the tree is. Sorry if I'm afraid of a tree. I think there's some validity behind it. One of the two we should probably do if we're trying to get to this room with this person, or we can just leave if we
How
don't
do we
actually
know the
care.
person's even in there?
I heard him shifting around when I am guessing Shae knocked on the other door.
Are you sure it wasn't just Shae knocking on the same door?
Well,
Like,
it
was it
wasn't
the same
them
door?
knocking, it was shifting. No, I don't think it was the same door.
How do you know it was
Together.
Shae?
The space between this hallway and that hallway, assuming there isn't a folding of the space between physically, is pretty
it have
wide.
been,
I'm
like-
assuming there's another room. Yeah, and then this big room, and I'll point to like the entrance hallway where the bowl things are and everything. That whole
Mhm.
space was in between this door and probably where Shae was as well in the back.
That
So
tracks,
if
yeah.
that's true, then it doesn't really matter which way we go. So just which way do we go?
Well, I'd prefer getting,
I would
the one with, like,
suggest not going the way that Glub and I did. It would be quite difficult for you.
Yeah, and also there's like these arcane traps over there, and I'm not really looking to go through that. So I think the way that Heinrich and I already went, probably better.
All right. So do we have anything to turn the lights off again, or and
Well,
maybe keep them off so that we don't get locked in there?
Sure. Maybe we can just put a bunch of petals on it. Make a nice petal
Okay.
poster.
Let's get all of the petals and block the light that way, maybe. I don't think they're thick enough.
Collage.
I don't think they're thick enough for that.
You begin to take some petals and gently layer them on the well. You very quickly determine you would run out of petals long before, and actually you would run out of time. Like it would get dark before you finish that, so you might as well just wait if that's your plan. Worth noting though, also Heinrich, you do know. Well, yeah, that's,
Cool.
that's all you got.
Yeah. So in
Word.
terms of timing and stuff, that if you had come along and that just stood there the first time, we would all be over there, minus Shae and Glub, of course.
The
No
light,
offense, but
the
you guys
light
are both
in
your own
this
way.
space is getting lower, and so you guys are, given the amount of time you've taken, you're only about an hour from sunset.
That's
Um,
that's the point I was getting to, is that I can't do the darkness again. So why don't we just wait on the other side in case that guy comes out, whoever that is
Like
inside.
when. Yeah, let's do that. That sounds like a great idea. I wish that someone else had thought of that prior to all of this happening.
It seems like you've already been doing that this whole time. So we'll just all join
Yep.
in it.
okay, so we're going that way.
We're just gonna wait till the sunlight dips because
Alright,
we already
I'm gonna-
covered the.
Bring in a bunch of the petals that we already plucked so I can make a nice cushy bed out of them.
Okay, you take this big
I'm like gonna-
armful, you pull them away from the window, and you kind of fluff them up. It's kind of mushy.
Did we
Um,
finish the
Into
first
it, so-
bottle of wine?
I mean, if you want to be, you can drink a whole bottle of wine. I would say,
We passed
I mean,
it back
between
and forth, and
Two
then
and a half people. Yeah.
okay,
Okay,
Akka and
so-
Morwen make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, I'm not. I don't know if I'm gonna drink a whole half a bottle.
Okay, so
You know what? I'm
make a
feeling
Constitution saving throw.
it. Feeling it.
That is a
I'm drunk.
mine is a 17.
Well, so actually, Morwen, what is your reliable? No, it's a saving throw. You don't get reliable talent. So what was your roll?
It is a total of 10.
So as you finish this bottle, Akka, you feel pretty okay. You kind of turn, you look over at Morwen. You don't see the eyes through the holes anymore. The whole mask is shifted slightly, and so you can just see like the corners of
It's
the
just
eyes.
like it's like this, but
The mouth hole is
There's one.
slowly torn wider and wider as it shifts, and Morwen keeps kind of tearing more of it to drink, kind of not really understanding why it keeps being covered. So like it looks like the face is just kind of slowly tearing as this thing shifts, and Morwen makes the holes wider. But Morwen's kind of sloshed, and Morwen, you within this, you're getting a little hot. Your fur, the layer of the flour, it's getting kind of uncomfortable.
all right,
But-
I'll just. Oh, okay.
Over the course of about an hour, you get drunk. You create a bed of flowers. Heinrich, you wait a little bit. Carranza seems to rest a little bit. Because it is 10:48, we're going to take a quick break. It is 10:48. We'll be back at 10:58. Sorry, a little late on this one. And we'll jump right back in. See you in 10 minutes.
Bye.
And howdy, folks. Welcome back to Adventures in Alberon. Thank you to those of you who stuck with us through the break. And for everybody who always comes and hangs out. We've seen Sumiwa and Talon. And thank you, Arcane Muffin, our most recent follower, and Sumiwa for the 15-month, I think, subscription streak, which is incredible. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, that the subscriptions and that kind of stuff, that all helps us do things like all the crazy art that you see on Instagram from the amazing people like Erica Volova and Sophie Bischoff. It goes into the various Hero Forge things that come about, like these brand new, the Hero Forge miniatures in full colored print. There's Morwen with a red jacket and Frank the Skull. But thank you so much. The support really lets us do this crazy over-the-top D&D game, which is like awesome and a lot of fun. So thank you for that. Jumping right back in, as a group, you all have entered the place known as Flowers in Air. You have explored elements of it, finding that much of it is blocked by these large metal doors that seem to require either brute physical force or the spell Telekinesis to open. At the moment, down the left hallway beyond a path of razor wire that seems to be strapped to some kind of magic. Beyond that, a large icy hallway with a frost giant frozen within, being speared through by roots of this massive ficus tree, which must exist somewhere. As down the other hallway to the right, the eastern hallway, beyond a door through which you've discovered you need to create an entirely dark room to open. There's a hallway that then leads to a sort of botany laboratory or station, if you will. You have, through the various machinations of Shae, Glub, Heinrich, and Carranza, you discovered that there is a central room at the end of both these hallways between them. And within that room, there is a figure. Shae, you imagine this is a ninth path individual seen by the human that you guys met, Busey, over in the ruins of Yorn. You imagine this figure is within. At current, it has been a difficult battle trying to figure out how to progress to this final room. So, Finger Gang and Glub and Carranza, what would you like to do?
Has the sun set yet? Is the room getting dark?
So if you guys choose to wait, slowly the shadows grow longer, almost like fingers stretching out for the various walls, and the light fades, with the exception of the light, which I assume that you keep casting around Carranza's bracer, as well as any other ignition sources that you all wish to light. It grows very dark. And night falls.
No one shows up. Dude doesn't leave his room.
As far as you can tell, the dude does not leave his room.
Um,
Should say.
So I have a question. Does my ability Telekinesis work like the spell Telekinesis, or does it specifically need the Telekinesis spell?
You're talking about your mage hand?
Yeah, from my feat Telekinesis.
You don't know.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Right. So, does the starlight door, I guess we'll just call it, does that open up when the light leaves the room?
As you did not as you did not uncover those lanterns, the door you would hear rise back up to the ceiling. And as you kind of peek into that room, you can see underneath the various things that you've draped over them, those magical lanterns are lit. But by virtue of the fact that they are covered, this place still opens. And you realize, to your point, Heinrich, when night falls, those lanterns turn on to keep this place lit. And that is what keeps that door shut.
Mm-hmm.
In covering them, you have kind of circumvented the door, and the door is now open.
All right. Do we all want to, together, go down this way? And
Lead
do
the
we
way.
have any ideas of what to do? Should
Well,
we
let's take
get
a
it
look
open
at
and
it
encounter
first.
this guy? Okay. It's
You
right
guys
over here.
make your way. Heinrich in the lead down this hallway. You climb the stairs, stepping over the large ficus roots that twist into the stone. and up into this kind of botany laboratory space. Glub, Akka, Morwen, and Shae seeing it for the first time. You see this large room, a bookcase off to the left, and a huge easy chair. You can see to the right a massive table. There are 2 planters with giant flowers of different species that emerge here and there. That is what you see. You see giant written into the floor, but none of you, with the exception of Glub. And Glub, you can read on the floor on the right side, there are runes that spell out "Awaken the Ficus."
Oh, I guess there is a live tree with a consciousness because we have to wake it up.
I don't know if we want to, unless we can befriend or control it. One of the two.
I can't talk to trees.
Right. I don't think we could I don't think any of us here could.
All right, so then maybe it should say, "Don't awaken the ficus."
To us, sure.
Well,
yeah.
I think, and you can see Carranza points at the window. I think if the window is broken, this works kind of like an alarm spell, and it will awaken the ficus. Whatever that is.
Oh, okay, so we shouldn't awaken the ficus.
Yeah, don't break the window. But like in general, don't break windows. It's not a nice thing to do.
No, you're right. That's not a very nice thing to do.
So yeah, as you can see, Akka, over here, I'll just point at the door. That says telekinesis.
I'm gonna try to open the door with telekinesis.
Wait.
Well, wait,
Before
yeah,
you do
wait.
anything,
I'm not gonna do it yet.
would you like to make a plan, Mister? I don't like to do anything until a plan has been made.
Well, yeah, but I thought that wasn't really what you liked to do, and
Is it the
I'm a
plan
little
just to open the
drunk,
door?
so
So the only reason to go ahead and figure these things out was so that we could come up with a plan. Otherwise, we were just standing behind doors.
all right. Here's the plan. I'll open the door, and then
We
you
rush
two,
in.
pointing to Shae and Morwen, go in there pretending to be offering aid to this purple-clad person.
Mind
And
you, I'm
then
also standing there in flowers.
You
and
lead
I'm just
them
like,
out,
And you're drunk.
Yeah.
and we'll get the drop on them.
Okay, so we'll hide in this room as they go in, and you can.
And
open
then
the
we'll
door from
ambush
distance.
them. Yeah, that seems like as good a plan as any. And then, I don't
If
know,
we
tie
need
them
to
up or
ambush them.
something. They probably know some magic, given the
I can turn him into an animal.
That might help. I can
Keep
also
that
just
in your
convince them
back
that we're
pocket
friends.
just in case. Yeah.
To be fair, I can just convince them that we're friends.
Yeah, but then what? After they find out that we're not, we should
Well,
probably have
we'll
them
be
tied
gone.
up.
We'll be long gone by that point, hopefully. And maybe
I
tie them
mean-
up too.
I can also make myself look like whatever I need to, if that's helpful in any way. Part of being a transmuter.
Alright, well, I'll open the door, and it sounds like you can all just wing it with whatever you want to do.
yeah, let me just.
See Carranza go and hide
just
behind the
second.
chair.
Hopefully it
I'm gonna
ends
take
up.
my hat off and my skirt, and now I'm looking like a normal night.
Alright, let's see. if
Hair
I-
is still a little messy, like clearly kind of drunk, but yeah.
I'm going to try and use my telekinesis to open the door.
Okay. You look, and Akka, from your perspective, you know that this mage hand-like spell extends out, and as it wraps around this metal bar designed to lift, you pull. This is greater than 10 pounds, and it is not a creature that you can shove 5 feet, and so it does not go anywhere.
Okay, can I potentially... I think I have an action that I can use. Yeah, I can move an object or a creature with my mind as an action. You target one loose object that is large. Is this large or smaller?
This is larger than large. This is a 20-foot wide, roughly 20 to 25-foot tall iron door. You would guess this probably weighs in excess of about 1,000 pounds.
Okay.
It's massive.
Okay, so I it's too heavy for me.
Okay. And I'll look over to.
Question.
Answer.
Okay, I'm. Is it a fully like stone room?
Yes.
the materials here?
Yeah, so it's like a cobblestone material. You can see elements of the ficus roots that twist along the floor and in the wall. The door seems to be metal, and the window, the windows here seem to be quartz, although something covers it. Although you wouldn't really be able to tell that because it's dark out now. But quartz windows, stone doors, walls, ceilings, metal door.
Yeah, so there's no way of like digging around or anything. Okay.
All right. Might have to use the.
Well, you know what? I'm drunk,
Oh,
so
no,
I'm
I'm
gonna
ready
start
to do
picking
it.
at the floor near the door.
Okay. As you start saying that, you hear this kind of, and you look down, and Morwen's talons are out, and she's just kind of ripping at the stone, little bits kind of flaking away.
Look, maybe we should all stand back. How are we feeling about leaping in right after a hole appears in the door?
I'll make the hole, but I'm not going to leap in.
No, that's fine. Shae?
I will leap.
Okay. Hopefully this goes well. Maybe we can just surprise and stun him.
Hey, can I?
I see Morwen's current state, and I'm not like trying to endanger.
Also, for what it's worth, instead of going through the door, maybe we disintegrate an area through the bookcase, the back of it, through the wall there. I bet that's less likely to be like trapped or enchanted or something.
Sure. Yeah, just a hole through to that room that is triangularly right there.
Yeah. All right. Anybody want to get in like a position to get ready or anything? Or are we just doing this?
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
get ready
Where am
to-
I going?
Potentially defend ourselves if someone tries to attack us when it opens.
How about we try that whole thing that failed at the market before and just to make us all invisible? Not all, most of us invisible. Is that going to help at all? Yeah, that's one of the things I can do.
I mean, if you're trying to hide, yeah, that'll help.
Or at least surprise.
Well,
I don't know if we're going to be able to surprise them when we blast a hole through the wall.
Yeah, but if they can't see us, they can't attack us. If they would. Which I assume they will.
Well, we
I don't
could
know, they're
also
hurt.
hide.
Fine, let's all stand to the side and around a corner as you blow the hole in, and then we'll run in after if we need to or something. I don't know. Just do it.
All right. You can see she walks forward. She stands about 20 feet away. So her back just about up to where the table is. She kind of bends, or doesn't have to bend down, actually. She can just stand under the table. She points with a finger towards the sort of hallway. You can see her hand hold the transmuter stone on her chest. She looks over to the left. All of you guys kind of tucked in behind the that big oversized chair. Probably would be the easiest thing to hide behind. She looks to you guys, and across this dark space, you can see as she holds the bracer up, emitting light, her mouth to you, Heinrich. Actually, no, she's just going to message straight to your head. All right, you guys ready?
I'll nod and I'll ready a specific spell when I see a person inside.
Which is?
Hold monster.
Okay. So, you watch as she points. This element of arcane energy encases her finger. You can see it spread all the way down the arm. This amber glow before it seems to, again, focus in, this time brighter. Burning element of amber light at the tip of the finger, and then it leaps. And as it hits, you can see the books on the case first just crumble into ash. The wood itself begins to fold in, and a 10-foot by 10-foot space on the wall, through the books, through the bookcase, through the stone itself, just crumbles. Very similar to, like, I think like Infinity Wars, everything just turning into stone. It just falls to the ground. This cloud of dust rises up about 3 or 4 feet into the air, rolling past all of you.
As soon as things stop falling, I'm already moving in.
Okay, so as this the stone dust up and kind of reaches maybe midway on most of your chests, all of a sudden there is a disturbance in the smoke as Shae streaks through it. Shae, you rush through the door. You can see Karan's just kind of and just straight by her. Is anybody else running in?
Yeah, with
I guess now,
with the intention
yeah.
to like paralyze the person who's inside.
Me
Okay.
too.
So we don't have to fight them.
My balance is a little off, so I just like grab onto Heinrich's tail Well, I like stumble. I'm like, oh. No,
So
I'm
as
running.
Heinrich runs through, you can see elements of the celestial energy beginning to glow around his arm as he readies the spell. You see him almost vanish into the smoke caused, this cloud of dust from the stone. And as he does, you see just the element of the tail, and you grab onto it. Heinrich, you feel your tail tugged as you haul Morwen through the stone cloud. So, really slow motion as all of this happens. Shae, you first, as you rush through the stone dust, kind of clearing through your face, you see in this space, I'll send you a picture of this map. Had a lot of time to draw maps. Actually, you guys have now, you've explored all of this, so I'll just show you. Because through the space you can also see the middle. Through the space in the bookcase, you can see the room itself, about 30 feet long, comes into a slight angle, and there is a big window carved out of the stone that goes into a central courtyard. From this courtyard, there is artificial daylight coming through, immediately reminiscent to you all of Kol Charam in the Ring of Gold. A similar kind of harsh daylight that streams through, and it casts a single beam into the center of the floor, about 10 feet wide. In the middle of this beam now, having shifted over from both doors, as he was not sure which door you guys are going to come through. And now in the center of this room, in this artificial light, there is the silhouette of a human, kind of just bent down. Shae, you immediately can see that he is hurt. You see the leg is kind of exposed, wrapped now with strips of the cloth, kind of blood-soaked. You can see within this space, there is very little else, just stone floor, stone wall. Elements of the ficus not even visible in here. The eyes look up. You see the face not trained like a typical Zinni would be trained. Emotion ripples across. You see excitement, confusion, and then elements of fear. From the space, he stares at you through. He is wearing the purple of what the Ninth Path have been wearing. However, unlike the rest of the Ninth Path monks, this is not somebody you recognize. This is not a Zin Yi. This seems to be maybe somebody, a little bit of a newer recruit. You see, hang on a second, let me just pull up some music for you guys here. You can see with this figure, probably about 5'10", broad in the shoulders, male human, maybe in his like 50s. You can see he does have this kind of leather pouch at his waist. These makeshift bandages are almost like clinging to the leg that seems to be pretty badly hurt. You can see there is a book also that he is kind of holding under an arm. Is there anything that you're doing as you kind of come in? Everything's slowing, the bits of dust hanging in the air. This is like the slow motion instant before anything happens. Shae, are you doing anything?
Walk in, still like very purposely making my way toward him, and kind of put my hands up.
Okay. You can see he stands, kind of bows a little bit with difficulty.
What are you doing here?
He looks at you, the dust now kind of settling. For anybody else who's coming in, you show up right behind Shae at this point. You can see the same thing. This figure looks across. I don't recognize you.
Nor are you.
So you aren't from the path. You aren't one of Crick's. You aren't one of Jerox's.
I know them well.
Make a deception check. You see his eyes dart back and forth between whoever it is. Who's behind Shae? Who else is coming? Morwen, kind of drunk.
Also in my Ninth Path garb.
Yep.
All right.
Betty
18.
from accounting.
18? Okay.
Unsure of how this is going. I'm still holding the spell.
So you either have to cast it when you see him or not, because otherwise you use the spell slot and the spell fizzles.
Well, I guess kind of following through with my word, we'll just do that.
Everybody
I'm gonna
roll for
follow through and be
initiative.
like, that
Can't
wasn't
help-
part of the plan.
I mean, it is because it's like.
So
Yeah.
roll for initiative. However, Heinrich, we're going to treat this as you getting a surprise round.
Mhm.
So you, as you go through, the dust clears. This brief interaction happens as you're rounding the corner. You make eye contact. The eyes dart from behind Shae, and you reach out, and the glyphs spin around your arm. Arcane sparks hitting the ground, bouncing off the stone, and you fire the spell. That is a wisdom saving throw, correct?
Yep.
That's a natural one. So that's going to be a fail.
Yep.
He's a great wisdom save too. Yeah.
Paralyzed.
So you watch the eyes, they're darting around, and as soon as they lock on you, the spell strikes him, and you can see the eyes look as if they're about to continue to dart, and they freeze. You see them trembling in the sockets. He is currently he's held.
Yeah, he's
All right,
paralyzed
so-
for 1 minute, which I'd just be like, bind him. That's all I'd say out loud.
Hang on one sec. So
We can still get info out of him.
it's good that you got that surprise round because this initiative is real high. Okay. So, all right. Anybody with a natural 20 for initiative? All right, 25 to 20.
24.
29.
29?
I rolled a
Damn.
19 and I get a plus 10 for initiative.
Wowzers!
Because of that, and then I double it. for-
Wowzers!
Matt, what was yours
22 for Akka.
for Akka? And Shae, yours was
24.
24 for Shae. All right. What was Heinrich's?
I got an 18.
18. And then what was Glub's?
14.
Okay. It's such a big fight because you guys have just lugged so many people in here now. So I just want to note that Glub's was the lowest with 14.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a
And
very,
fitting, 'cause
very
he's in the
high.
other room, just like, oh.
Yeah, so that makes sense. So this thing happened first. This is your first turn, Heinrich. So you basically just skipped all the way to the top.
Yeah.
This then drops down to Morwen. Morwen, you see this figure as it's looking around suddenly just freeze as it's standing.
And I shall bind him.
What do you
Within
do?
6 seconds.
Well, do I see Shae though? Like hands up?
Yeah, you see Shae hands up, like talking. Right as his last words fade, he freezes as the spell leaps from Heinrich and into him. He is currently held. What would you like to do?
I'm just gonna push Shae and be like, are we trying to fuck this guy up? Because I
Can I-
don't
Okay.
want to
On this
attack him if
turn?
that's not what
Not on your turn. So is that your turn, Morwen?
Yeah.
Okay. Morwen comes up to you through the stone. Are we going to fuck this guy up? That is Morwen's turn. It is now his turn. He is held. You cannot do anything at the end of his turn. He's going to try his wisdom save throw again. What is the DC on that save?
Let me see here. At the end of each turn, wisdom saving throw 18.
18. Okay. At the end of his turn, you watch as all of a sudden the eyes suddenly shift again, and you feel your spell break. That is a natural
Found
20.
Well,
Yeah, but it makes sense that Morwen wouldn't.
no, I know.
That does make sense. But
I'm also
that's a free round.
I'll-
Shae, you are up. Akka, you're on deck. Karanza is in the hole.
I'm gonna shoot Heinrich a really nasty look, and then
It's like,
I'm gonna
That was
run
the
up
plan.
and attempt to grapple this guy.
Sure. You rush over to him. Make an athletics check. And dicey encounters let me down here.
It's a 26.
or helping us out.
Okay. So he rolled a 10. Or no, he rolled a 3, but it's a total of 10. You dart forward. You can see for a moment he shifts and begins to react. You're too quick, and he was held. He just breaks out of it as your arms walk around him. You feel his arms begin to shift and move, but with his injury, he's unable to go anywhere. He is considered grappled.
And I'm just gonna hold him.
Okay. Do you see anything?
No.
Okay. He is grappled. Akka, what would you like to do?
What are we doing here? Are we? I don't know.
We're both just drunk and asking questions.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna try to interrogate, and God,
Akka, is that your turn?
I think I would just ready in case he tries to escape a mind sliver.
Okay. So you ready Mind Sliver. Let's say cantrip, so you're not going to use a slot with that. That is your turn. That brings us to Carranza, who, looking back and forth at all of this and in the rush, is just going to hold off. That is her turn. She's going to watch all of you guys. That would be Heinrich's turn. Heinrich is already gone. What is Glub doing in the back of all of this?
Just kind of like trying to peek over and be like, oh, what's
Just
happening? I can't see.
Stone dust everywhere. You can't really see what's going on. You see Morwen kind of wobbling at the end of the group.
Is the person okay in there?
That is Glub's turn, I'm going to guess. That brings us to the top of the order. Morwen, what would you like to do? Pembroke is on deck, although currently grappled.
So they're grappled means you brought him to the ground, right?
Just holding him.
Just
Or
hold him.
like, oh, all right. Well, I'm drugged, so I'm gonna be like, hugs. I'm also gonna embrace and just say, "It's okay, buddy. I'm sorry about that. About my friend over there. He was acting a little hasty with panache."
So, okay, hang on one sec. That's a lot of stuff that you're doing all at once. Shae, you rush in and grapple him right as he breaks free from Heinrich's thing. You can hear, you won't get it. And as soon as he starts talking, suddenly you hear Morwen come up behind. It's okay, buddy. And you feel one arm softly go around you. This is not a grapple. This is a hug. And the other arm goes around him. His eyes dart down. He is quite confused and grappled, technically twice. Is that your turn, Morwen?
Wait, can
Oh,
I know?
panache, right.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, I'm sorry. It's all good, buddy. It was just acting a little hasty. Didn't expect to see anybody.
All right, make your charisma check.
Okay. What is it? Just like flat charisma, or
So if
specific here?
If I remember correctly, this is a contested check between his insight, and I want to say your charisma. Persuasion. It's a persuasion check. That's what it is.
Persuasion check contested by creature's wisdom insight. Yes. All right. So I'm doing persuasion. Okay.
I don't think you can roll lower than he rolled. I don't think it's possible because of the talent.
It's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Yeah, he rolled a total of 11. So you look at him and you come in for this gentle hug. You see these eyes frantic. So Panache, which is how it is pronounced, he is now considered both grappled and charmed. And just really quick, for those of you at home, basically, he is going to have disadvantage on attack rolls against targets other than you. So you watch as the eyes focus in on you. He is very much focusing in on you. You imagine that worked for whatever that means. Anything else?
A little back rub.
Okay.
Just not like massage, but like.
It is his turn. On his turn, you feel him try to flinch away from you. He is grappled, but he tries to pull away from you, and you can hear him just say, "Get off of me." And he tries to break free. However, with you hugging him and with him charmed by you, because he is technically making an attack to try to break out of Shae's, he is now making an athletics check at disadvantage. Shae, make your athletics check.
Would I also release my mind sliver since he's trying to escape?
If you would like, sure. Yeah.
Because I have readied that.
Yeah.
Is he like actively trying to escape the grapple or just like the hug?
This is Akka or this is Glub?
Akka.
Akka? Yeah, it looks like he's just trying to escape.
All right.
Shae, what's your athletics check?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. That beats his at disadvantage. That beats his 13.
Hug.
Tries to struggle. You can see with Morwen kind of gently holding him, you holding him tightly. He tries to escape, but his eyes can't leave this weird cat creature that is now like grasping onto him, and smells of booze. Aka, mind
He
slipper.
also, yeah, he needs to take an intelligence save.
So on his worst possible save, he rolled a 19, which gives him
Oh,
a
wow.
22, which means I believe he breaks it.
Yeah, he does not take the damage.
Okay.
Well, that's
He is
probably
grappled
good.
and charmed. It is good, actually, because that would break the charm. Anything else? Sorry, that was your reaction. So yeah, you fire the spell and you watch as it goes. Just seems to swirl the smoke and the dust, the psychic energy not connecting. That is his turn. At the end of his turn, he doesn't break out. Shae, what would you like to do? Aka, you're on deck.
I'm gonna just say to him, don't struggle. It's only going to make it worse. And I'm gonna keep holding.
Make an intimidation check.
She's squeezing him. I'm gently hugging, and she's like,
16.
"Don't struggle."
16. Okay. He doesn't respond, but that is what you say. Aka, what would you like to do? You hear this. You hear Shae say, don't struggle.
Yeah, I think I would probably ready another mind sliver in case he tries to struggle.
Okay. You ready, mind sliver?
Yeah, and just be like, what are we gaining from this right now? This poor guy.
From over your shoulder on her turn, you hear Carranza yell to you, Shae, do you want me to turn him into something?
No, don't worry about it. Just tie him up.
Okay. So she's going to pass her turn. She's not going to go try to tie him up. Heinrich, what would you like to do? Then Glub, you're up next.
Turn to Glub and be like, help me tie this guy up. And I'm going to go start. Just like,
Okay. Is Glub going to help?
I'd be like, okay, well, that doesn't seem like the best way to help his leg, but okay.
I'm going to say, because this is happening rather rapidly, you do have assistance. Heinrich, make a sleight of hand check, but make it at advantage, as you and Glub basically both take one end of the rope.
yeah.
And you're doing like a battle of
Out of the
Hoth
bag.
style.
Yeah. I'm tying
I just like
Morwen.
walk
together?
around.
Yeah, I'm
'cause
tying Morwen. No,
Yeah,
it's
Morwen's gonna get tied into this. Actually, so really will Shae.
Oh shit, 26.
Okay. You know what I'll say with the 26?
Can I
you
avoid
go
them?
low and you go high to avoid
Yeah.
Shae and Morwen. Morwen almost like is actively getting in the way, but you manage to go around her. You tie him up. He is now considered restrained. And I'm going to say, as he is charmed, grappled, restrained, I'm going to take you guys out of it.
Okay, good.
You can see now, wrapped up in this rope, and a tabaxi, and a human. He looks at you, Shae. I'm not going to struggle, but I'm also not giving you anything.
I don't want anything. Other than to know why
Everybody
you're here.
wants. So that's something.
So, did we get what we wanted?
Shae, what do we need to ask him? What they
I
were
take
doing
care of.
here?
I can take a look at that leg for you if you wish.
He looks and kind of shrugs. He doesn't even really look down at the leg. I don't think anything will really help me now.
What
The others
caused
are
it?
already gone. What? This leg?
Yes.
You can see. What
Has our embrace broken?
was your intimidation?
16.
Yes, I would say now that he's wrapped up in this rope. 16. In our original journey here, it was not without incident. The dash through the whatever the halls are that you people have, there was something that shattered the walls. I wasn't quick enough.
Where are you from?
Does it matter?
To me, it does.
I'm from a place called Dun.
What drew you to this?
To this place, to this path.
To this path?
I've always been something of a fighter, and this an easy way to gain more power. But after the old man came back, that's when things changed. Highland wasn't in charge anymore. I didn't make it through the gate, but in a way, I think that's maybe a good thing.
Do you know what happened to Highland?
Make an insight check.
I was at 25.
25. He's not a Zinni monk. He's not like monk good at keeping his composure, but there is this flicker of kind of shame almost that passes through his face, and then it's kind of gone and replaced. You can see he just kind of shakes his head.
I see. What did they tell you?
He looks up at you, and for a brief instant, you can see he is intimidated by you, but not nearly as much as he's intimidated by whatever it is that he is working for or with. And he just looks down again.
What's your name?
One second here. Not that it matters, but my name is Pembroke.
All names matter. All paths matter.
You can see he opens his mouth as if he's about to say something to that, but then shuts it.
While they're talking, can Glub take a look at his leg?
Yeah, sure. Make a medicine check. Are you touching the leg?
No, not touching it. I'm just like, looks like a pretty nasty wound there. That is a natural 20.
Okay. From the shape of the bandage wrapped around it, these makeshift bandages, you see an element jutting from the skin. There is a compound fracture, a compound break underneath that. You imagine, should you pull these away, you would see bone. This is a broken leg. You would imagine a fight with him would have probably been pretty quick because he's badly hurt. And now, kind of appraising the leg and looking up, the skin maybe a little paler than it should be, and you can see there are elements of kind of his skin is a little bit on the darker side. You would imagine he should have more color to his face. His lips a little bit pale, his skin a little bit pale. He's lost a lot of blood. Broken leg, blood loss. He's in rough shape.
Oh, you don't seem to be holding up too well here, huh?
He looks down at you. Looks back up at you, Shae. And what about you? What path is this that you walk with these?
It is a strange one that I find myself on. Torn between many.
The only downside to all of you bird people, elves, these aren't civilized folk. I sought them for power. What do you want? You're human. You could be living a proper life in the kingdom.
I never was run from the kingdom. How much do you know of the history of the people you follow?
Enough.
I am of their kind.
Of the Zinni.
Indeed.
Congratulations. I hear you're doing wonderfully.
Not so well anymore.
You get the sense that he knows that.
Though, if you are agreeable, there are people there who can perhaps take care of that leg.
Where? In the little town of Squall's End.
Yes.
Oh, when the sky blackens and the world begins to crumble into rot, the Squall's End is where it will begin. There's nothing for me there. There's
That is
nothing
what
for
you wanted.
there.
That is what you wanted, isn't it? Joining this path as you did.
You can see, he looks down. What I wanted was power. He looks back up at you.
And what you caused is this.
Well, what is it that you people say? There's a beginning in every end.
Indeed.
There is more. Once she returns to the place that is rightfully hers, she is supposed to bring an absolute peace. I will
I
be gone.
scoff. I scoff at that.
Turns and looks at you, and turns back to you, Shae.
Is that what you want?
What I want is irrelevant. That is what is coming.
When you give up, yes.
Shakes his head. You don't understand. You don't understand the man. Jeruxa is more than a leader. He's more than a fanatic. There's something so dark about that. I've spent 20 years more seeing the underside of what the Valley of Tranquility has to offer. Dun, the city of stone, has a lot underneath the grounds beyond just the mines. But I've never seen anything like Jeruxa.
I'm gonna lean forward and just whisper in his ear, Drexa is my grandfather.
And make an intimidation. Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah, make an intimidation check.
That's a 15.
Okay. You feel him pull against the ropes. He tries to pull back. In the space surrounded by all of you, there's nowhere really for him to go. But his eyes look up at you, searching for truth in these words. So what? You are Aira's daughter?
I am.
How does it feel?
You should know.
I should know. My bloodline isn't the one that's destined to end this world.
But you lay here, waiting for nothing.
I was waiting for them. I thought maybe they would come back. But clearly not.
Path only moves forward.
Silent.
So, we gonna kill this asshole now, or what? What are we doing?
I won't kill
This
him.
one.
If you all wish to, I leave it in your hands.
No.
Nah, I'm all set. I'm gonna
Seems
start
kinda-
shopping around the room.
Seems kind of sorry if you ask me. Seems like he followed the wrong guy and got his leg broken and now he's gonna die from it.
Would it be a mercy killing?
Are you saying that out loud?
No, I'm asking. Like, does it seem like it would be a mercy killing at this point?
Like
I
he's
mean, he's a
injured
broken
enough.
leg. You know, he's not a horse in the 1600s. Like, he could probably make a recovery.
All right,
It's
well,
more
yeah.
a matter of, like, what you all choose to do. If you leave him here, It's probably about
Probably.
50-50. You know, it really depends.
I would take him to Squall's End. Let him see what his actions have brought.
I've been to Squall's End. I was just there.
And you can return and spend your remaining days there.
Wait, so now we're going to Squall's End?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd.
I don't know, dude. Would you rather die or do you want to go to Squall's End? You get like kind of a say in this.
Why does he get it?
More.
He has more say in things than I do around here.
No, you got a say too. You know.
Well, I say
He
we don't
turns to
waste our
you,
time
Akka.
going to Squall's End.
He turns to you, Akka, and then looks at all of you. This is the only person who speaks any sense.
Who?
Squall's
Which
End
one?
is a waste of time. And he turns, looks at you again, Akka. Why do you hang out with them if they don't listen to you? You're right.
Yeah, well, you're not trying to curry favor with me.
I'm already dead. Favor doesn't really enter into the equation. But ask yourself, do you want to follow them down a path that will lead you to where I am now?
Well, not particularly, but my options are pretty limited, so I try to make the best of things.
Turns, looks at all of you, looks back. If what she says is true, the path only moves forwards. You're just as dead as I am. They'll leave you. Just
We're
as
all
the
dead
ninth path will for
eventually.
me.
Yeah, your metaphors don't really matter to me. I'm just trying to figure out, is it worth bringing you back, or should we just kill you right here and, save us all the trouble? So probably not the best person to try to appeal to.
Make her an intimidation check. I can't roll higher than a 7. This is a problem.
Natural 20.
You could see he almost flinches, and he's trying hard to meet your gaze, but his eyes have to turn. He looks down and kind of looks up at all of you. So what are you going to do? I'm not going to tell you anything else.
They seem pretty low on the rung. I can't imagine there's much else that you could tell us, like how they got where they're going and what they're attempting to do with what pieces of, what keys to unlock what doors. That whole plane is not made for them. Can't imagine that they had any better of an idea than trying to blow a hole through the wall.
You notice as you're saying this, Heinrich, he's looking at you pretty intently. And for the first time, as you're talking, you can see him smile a little bit. And he continues to look at you and says, what would you know about being on a low rung, Markovir?
So, he can transfer his knowledge to you, or did he just talk about me? Is he a fan?
Nothing.
Oh, what'd he say about me?
Looks
What
at
are
you,
we-
Morwen. I have no idea what you are.
Yeah, you do. By the way, I'm like laying on the ground, just like, yeah.
I'm Glub. I'm sorry about your leg. I
Hey.
don't think I have much that I can do.
Why don't you try? No, I'm trying to think of a way to like trick you into touching him. Why don't you? I think if you get the bandage off, you might be able to help him out a little bit.
Well, I don't think I'm the person to do that because as I've learned, and as you've stated before, I am quite poisonous. So I think that would not help him fix his leg.
All right,
we're,
fine. I'll roll my eyes at the innocence of this little creature here.
Yes, so fair warning, Pembroke is your name? Glub, hi. So just, in case you, are freed, don't touch me, I am, poisonous, I've been told. So,
He looks around at all of you, looks down at his bindings. I
I
haven't
gotta-
really tried to touch any of you.
I got a question,
Well, that's
actually.
good.
How'd you get by those doors? Just out of curiosity.
What was your? Did you roll intimidation yet? Roll persuasion, Heinrich.
Yeah. All right. That is 23.
He looks at you and kind of turns his eyes towards the door that Shae, you had been on the other side of. A one-shot trick meant for getting through the aperture if anyone was especially injured. Not anyone, but gone now. Turns and kind of gestures, and you can see kind of towards the corner of the room, off near where the other side of that door, open, this leather case. You'd imagine probably held a scroll.
Mm. Oh, okay. I just kind of like look around and be like, I don't know. I don't know if we have to worry about this guy.
So, can we get out of here?
I think that's best. Seems like there's literally nothing to be gained right now. Although I do want to check out this tree. I'm curious.
You were just...
The
Morwen,
ficus. Yeah.
did you search him?
Hell yeah. Alright, I'm gonna start searching him.
Okay, make an investigation check as you begin to dig through the. It's not a lot of pockets. He does have a pouch and a few other things.
Oh.
That is an 18.
Okay. So Morwen, you find nothing on him, and that's very suspicious to you. You're a rogue, and even this guy, and you get the sense he's not a monk like Shae. The accent's different. You would actually recognize the accent as probably being from within the Valley of Tranquility. It's like Central Kingdom of Serentil, Central Dominion. You begin to kind of look, and off by that scroll case that he had said was empty and kind of useless, you go over and you just shake it out. Coins hit the ground. The parts of like a little leather wrap that they were in also falls out. It's close to 100 pieces of gold, at least.
Bingo!
A few pieces of silver mixed in there, shattering on the ground. 2 empty glass bottles. An empty leather pouch with scraps of bandages within it falls out. A single handheld drum hits the ground. And then onto the ground, a book falls open. All of that seems relatively innocuous, but you can see the book in particular, very old book, human, no, medium creature size, regular sized. So not from here, probably. But that is what you find.
Alright, I'm scooping up the gold, keeping the pouch, and leaving everything else. I don't care about that book.
Okay.
I do, though. I'll walk over and pick it up.
Okay. You pick it up. It's written in common, and it is entitled The Elemental Deluge.
I'm going to bring it over to Heinrich.
Okay.
A book.
Your
All right.
favorite.
Do I see the cover? Have I read that before?
You've not read The Elemental Deluge. This is an old book.
Is anyone
worth
watching
noting,
this guy? Keep an eye on his
recognize, because of his hand tool on the front, Heinrich, having read a number of pieces of writing from this individual, the handwriting is becoming more and more noticeable to you. This was written by Abernathy the Bender. Weirdly, it seems as if it's older than anything in this place, which is already thousands of years old.
Okay. I'll thumb through it.
Okay. So, thumbing through it, you discover that this is an event, the Elemental Deluge, that happened during the First Age. Early in the First Age. This is like the formation of the world. This occurred. But after an event happened that Abernathy would conjecture involves Mistra in some way, there were powerful entities within the inner planes that turned their attention to Alberon. Where their domains bordered closest, they forged connections. They ebb and flow, and even in present day, which there's no date on this book, so no idea when this might be referring to, there are several. And as you rifle through, a few of them kind of catch your eye. The Canyon of Alhawe, which is a place in Mythelstream. There is the First Gate, which is somewhere deep, deep to the east in the north, sort of the opposite side of the Squall on the continent. There's the Balefire Connector, which is listed as beneath a place called Coldstone. But of all of these, the thing that most catches your eye, there's two of them. First, a place called Dinman's Drain in Colcheron,
Hmm.
a waterfall that leads to the Gasping Grotto in the Plain of Water.
I think we almost ended up there.
You did. I had it already.
Yeah. We went
and
right
then-
instead of left.
In another mountain, one that does not bear a name in this document, although not sketched out, there is a description that describes the sun striking a point such that when it hits this mountain peak, shadows split it down the middle. And you don't really know what that means. But supposedly beneath this, there is a elemental wound that causes a frosty, cold fire to emerge. And thinking about this and kind of putting together all the other clues, this is probably what the Cold Forge was built on top of.
Mm-hmm. So now we have a description of the location. I'm not saying this out loud.
Sure.
I'm thinking, and using what you just said, that's pretty much what it sounds like.
And if you were to take out the narrowed down section that Lorebinder Boron had kind of issued out to you, of those four mountains, there is one where the peak of it is split. And through that, you would imagine if the sun hits it head on, shadows would be cast on both sides of the mountain because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And more, you're starting to begin to suspect you have an idea as to where this Cold Forge is.
Cool. I'm going to close the book and just look at him and go, so you're not totally useless after all. Thank you. Where did you get this, by the way?
He looks over the book.
Mm-hmm.
We picked it up in... that was weeks and weeks and weeks ago. We acquired that in Dungannon.
That's a big place. Could you be more specific?
No.
As in you don't know, or you're doing the whole not going to tell me kind of thing?
His eyebrow goes up and that's it.
Let me take a look at it.
All right. Hand it
Does
over to you, and I'll just sort of like rest my foot on his wound.
Okay. You hand it over, and as you rest the foot, you see him wince. He does not react. You see him go out of his way to try not to react, but given the duress that he's under already, it's a hard front to keep up. It hurts him quite a bit.
Is the book in any way, does it seem to indicate where it could have been from in Dungannon specifically? Is it something that belongs to the Antiquities Collection?
It does not, but flipping to the back where frequently in Dungannon, there are several museums and libraries that house old books. They generally will have a stamp or a seal on the back page or the inside of the back cover. So flipping it over, this is from a place called the Pashtal Review, which is I would say Aka's probably never been there, but it's an old kind of dealing more in like old architecture and old buildings. It's kind of like an architectural museum, but mostly books and diagrams.
Okay. I'd tell him where it's from, hand it back.
Okay. All right. Should we ever end up there, they might find something missing.
It's probably stolen. Can assume.
Yeah. Sorry, I know drama isn't my flair. And I'll just kind of like push on the wound as I turn away from him a little bit.
He just turns away from you.
Yeah. All right. Someone should probably do him in. I'm gonna go check out this tree, and I'm just gonna start walking away because I got all I think we could get out of it personally.
Okay. So you hear the footfalls of Heinrich as he walks away. That leaves Akka, Glub, Morwen, Carranza, and Shae with this individual. What are you guys doing?
I'm gonna get up and walk away. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, if someone wants to kill him, that's on you. I'm a little too drunk. It'll be messy. It won't be very quick. So, thanks for the gold and the pouch. I'll maybe see you later. Maybe not. Nice to meet
Sure.
you, though.
Carranza's gonna nod and just kind of go, "Yeah, no, I'm kind of with her. I'm gonna go."
I
follows
also
you.
don't feel like killing anyone. I hope your leg gets better. Away.
Okay, so Shae, Akka, you are the only two left with this individual. What do you want to do?
I've already said I will not kill him. If you're going to do it, do it.
I'm not the one who murders people on sight. I'm just not going to take this guy to Squall's End to fix his leg. I'm going to, go into my bag and throw a medicine kit at the guy. Be like, good luck.
On the
to you."
chest and falls to the ground. He
Wait,
looks at it and watches it hit the ground.
by the way, just as a reminder, you guys, we do have someone who can just teleport us there. It's not like it's gonna take that long to get there.
but that's a
I'm
whole
just
day.
saying. I'm just saying.
I would say at some point she probably would have told you she can teleport 6 willing creatures at a time.
She
Your
has
party,
told us.
okay, yeah, and your party is amassing a lot of people. So think about it this way: Akka, Glub, Shae, Heinrich, herself, Morwen. That's 6.
Glub. We already said
That
Glub.
was,
Yeah, so that's
that
6.
Oh,
Plus
never mind.
plus Rando Dando.
Yeah, if you guys want to take Rando Dando, we're talking about Busey.
No, yeah. The 8th member of our party. We have Tied Up Man. We have Fat Bowless Hunter.
He's
We
off.
just gotta
He's
collect
off in
them
the
all.
rooms.
We're just
Yeah.
collecting them all.
All right.
Yeah, so Akka threw the med kit and was like, good luck to you, and walked away.
Okay. So Shae, just you and him.
I am going to hit him in the forehead with the intention of knocking him out.
Okay, so don't even. Well, you know what? Roll an attack at advantage. It's going to hit no matter what, but just in case it's a critical, that will be the only thing that matters.
It is not a critical.
Okay, so roll damage.
Might have still killed him after saying you didn't want to kill him.
It's probably not going to kill him. It's definitely not going to kill him.
It's 7.
7. Okay. You punch him in the head. He's tied up. He's bound. Akka just threw a medkit at him, hit him in the chest, fell down,
Like,
and down at that.
Tossed it at him.
As he looks up, your fist just closes and clocks him. His head jerks back. You hear something crack a little bit, and he turns back. Why don't you just kill me? Kind of limps a little bit in place as he's bound. Is that all
Then
you
I
have?
then I will. Since no one else will, then I will.
So, for what it's worth, how are you killing this individual?
I'm gonna take the
Also,
spear
it's
out.
by
and-
yourself, so it doesn't matter. So we don't need to see it. So just don't feel bad about however brutally you want to do it.
with the spear through the chest, and then take the head off.
Okay. So you take the spear, you look at him, he looks up at you, and as you do so, you can kind of see there is fear in his eyes, but there's also a little bit of a smile. He kind of it's a weird moment. You feel you should have all the power in this situation, but there is this unease. It feels as if there's just something weird in his look. But you thrust the spirit down.
Any last words?
No. How about you?
No.
I'll do it then.
And I do.
You plunge the spear down straight into the chest. You can see elements of the rope actually dragged in with it. You see a faint smile. And as he falls to the pavement, the rope still keeping him bound, the blood falling a lot less than you would imagine. He doesn't have a ton left, but flowing out onto the stones. Weakly, he just says, the drums. And because it is 12:05, that is where we're going to end for the evening.
Whoa.
Damn,
Yeah, like
cold-blooded.
Damn.
Shae murdering somebody.
Join the club.
Innocent Pembroke.
I feel like I have the most awkward, shouldn't have done that, maybe should have, I don't know, kills. Or attempts to.
Killed a dolphin.
Well, that immediately, ugh, yeah.
I think the best kill in the entire campaign, the best unintentional kill, was the first time you guys learned about non-lethal damage.
Oh,
That was the best time.
non-lethally spear him through the face.
I can't remember what it was exactly. I think it was with Shell. Tweez, like the monk with the glass window kind of thing over the mechanics in her face. I'm pretty sure you guys non-lethally killed her to death, which was pretty good. It was a good learning experience. Anyways, thank you guys very much for hanging out with us while we played D&D. Exploring this area that is known as Flowers on Air. You guys did not set off the ficus, so that's probably pretty good. But are we back next week? I know I'm on call, so it'll be a little, one of those weeks where we may have to have another extra break or so. But we'll be back next week, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, like we are every week. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Stay safe. Until then, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.